Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, today, League of Ordinary Gentlemen proud to be you. Fantasy Football 4. We're still short one. JT's missing. Mike's back. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing great. I'm glad to be back with you boys.
Thanks, Mike.
I'm glad to see those posters worked. A lot of people called about the missing dancer. And
Francer's back with us, boys.
Got my jazz hands.
got a lot of calls from people down in Florida saying they thought they had spotted.
Yeah, I am. Well, it's a puffy shirt.
Puffy shirt. Oh, from the picture.
Yeah. I was talking
How
about.
quickly I forget.
I was also a puffy shirt from Seinfeld because he's the devil.
I want to be a pirate.
You're wearing a pirate hat.
I personally want to be a pirate.
Oh, so
it's a quote from the show.
Oh, so you. What pirate?
Well.
It's a coffee table book. It's about coffee table spots.
I'm gonna tell you, boys. For the first time, this is my third time hosting.
Is it the deepest?
The first cuts.
That's what I thought. Okay.
I'm actually not in a piss poor mood about it today.
Yeah, because Michael's back.
I know.
Wait till you get JT back.
My little buddy. Huh?
But then he won't be
And then
hosting
I'll
anymore.
yeah.
Oh.
Or
That
we can put it up to a vote.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I do not. Listen, I don't enjoy hosting this. It's not one of those.
It's a good look.
I'm going to tell you I don't enjoy hosting it, but boy, I hope you guys just like push it and really want me to do it.
But some of the best
really
stories
good.
are the reluctant hero, you know? And that's you.
There's no hero.
You are.
You are.
You
You
on a
stepped up.
podcast.
You stepped up. Yeah.
that
Without
only
you,
two
there
of the
would be
four
no
of us
podcast.
That are on the podcast probably have listened to every episode.
Don't you listen to the Fighters?
You okay?
Foo Fighters. I thought you were stuttering. Just a heads up, I'm on my 5th or 6th cup of coffee. Ryan is drinking some Sour
Ghost.
Patch energy drink, so
Zero sugar. Very good.
this might get off the rails. It might.
So
All
it's
right.
just like every other episode that nobody listens to. Go.
Y'all ready to jump in, boys?
Jump in.
Just jump in.
All right, let's start with the Week 5 recap. Who we got first?
Got Broach versus Tyler.
Broach v. Tyler. I'm a little bit behind. Give me a second.
And now.
And no. There it is. Revenue projection was 117-123 in favor of Tyler. Oh, Tyler's got a new name.
Yes.
That's deep. That is deep.
Yes.
Autonomy? Autonomy.
Autonomy.
For the educated folk.
Final projection was 96.36, 121.36 in favor of Tyler. That's his first win of the year.
Way to go, Tyler.
He finally popped that cherry.
First one of the league.
There you go.
Hey, felt good.
I'll take it first.
Cincinnati held Lamar Jackson at 16.75 to start out. That's going to hurt you.
We really missed that whole. This is going to be a shootout game that we called on.
Does that make us up for 3 on those?
Don't you boys dare. Going back to last season.
You okay?
Like 0 for 8, 0 for 9. Don't anybody say anything about the Bills-Chiefs game this week.
I'm going to say a
No,
lot of it.
no,
I'm going to say a lot of it. You've already said it, so now it's already been brought up.
We can talk about the game, but just not what we think the game's going to be.
All right.
Back in.
We don't raise a quick.
That was a sidebar that we did sidebar on.
Also, Darren Waller putting up 0, Hawkinson putting up 1, Robinson putting up 2. That in itself, pretty much, that makes it.
So we talked about Hawkinson last week on the pod because he had 36 or something the week before, and we said, we're playing New England. It's not the same New England team, but it is still Bill Belichick, who's going to be like, that dude isn't going to beat me. And he purposely took Hawkinson out of the game plan. Like,
Took everybody.
Yeah,
that's also
It
true.
was a
That was
high-scoring offense coming into the game, and they got shut out.
it was horrible. Like, they couldn't move the ball. They were putting constant pressure on Goff. Goff, who's had a really good fantasy season, looked horrible for the game. So, yeah, that hurt Broach big time. You have a quarterback that you're expecting who's put up what me and Mike talked about, like 40 points.
Yeah.
Like, what, 2 weeks in a row?
Tied for most points on the season, right? Were they
Yep.
first, ain't he?
Yeah.
Then how about Allen Robinson?
At what point does he drop a
Then
ball?
we
It's got to be like.
Yeah, we talked about him last week.
He's so bad
Like,
right now.
I blame
Canada.
social media so much for the hype around him. Like,
Everybody, ESPN.
it was like, look at this
I blame
one-hand
Blake
catch
Bortles.
in practice. Look at this. Look at that.
Blake Bortles in like
Wait, wait.
2014 or 2015 when he had that great year when they were always down by 20 coming into the fourth quarter and they could just light it up down the field down Robinson. And he hasn't been the same since.
Well, if he's going to have a good game, it's going to be this week.
We've said that before, though.
It's Carolina.
We said that.
Yeah.
But didn't they play the Falcons earlier this year?
He's had one
Yeah,
good game.
he put up 13. That's his
Oh, that's
only
what
That
win.
was
he
his
touchdown.
good, that was his good game.
But then if you look after that, he has San Francisco and Tampa Bay. I mean, that's not looking too good. New Orleans is on there, Kansas City.
Yeah, well,
The deeper it goes in the season, I mean, there's just not a whole lot.
he is not startable at this point in the season
you
at all.
can't trade
and
him because
you
you're not
can't
going
trade
to
him.
get value for him.
Dropping him, like I said, this is deja vu because it happened last
Would you
year.
pick him up?
I would not.
Yeah, I had a
My
hard time
team's
dropping him.
hurting bad, and I would not.
I would have almost started Rashad Bateman, and he didn't play last week just because I'm like, you know what?
Maybe
Loyalty.
he shows up.
Loyalty.
And Josh Reynolds on his bench, who with I'm on St. Brown did play, didn't he?
He was limited, but there was nothing about it before the game.
Yeah,
Just
I bet.
after the game, they said that he played like
20
20% of the
20 of
snaps.
the snaps. Yeah, and I guess they started getting blown out early. Like, there's no reason to put him back out there. Which I said on the podcast last week, they should have just kept him out. They got a bye week coming up this week. Like, just
let him
go
get
and
back
sit
right.
him out. You get 3 weeks off, and you're good to go.
Josh Reynolds looked good here lately. I mean, if we look at his fantasy production, after week 1, he's been double digits every week. 3.3, 11.3, 12.6, 17.6, 12.2. Like, that, again, he didn't have a name value coming into the season at all. And really, after week 1, he was on no one's radar.
Rams early in his career, right?
Yeah.
I think so, yes. But he's been putting up solid numbers on a Detroit team that we just talked about.
Good offense, terrible defense.
And they're going to have to put up points.
Yeah.
Now, has it been a benefactor of some injuries on the team? Yeah, but I think if you become a reliable
you have
target
to take
for the
advantage of
quarterback,
opportunities that put before you,
I don't think he's one that is going to fade out of the offense. I think it's someone that they're going to keep on the field, and he could be productive with how much St.
Brown did last year. Like, he wasn't involved at all at the beginning of the year, and a couple people got hurt. And he just comes in and lights it up, and now he's their one.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the winner for a second. Derek Carr putting up 21. Not bad. Justin Jefferson back to his 24 plays. I think we touched Damian Pierce a little bit last week.
Did we?
I think so.
Well, Bryan,
he
who
know
do you want to touch?
Where? Exactly.
I don't have the dog.
I got a
It looks
dog.
like we wondered if he had his that you know of.
I do.
That he was maybe here to stay. Another 18.8. That was following a 22.9. So he's looks like he's going to be in his lineup for the remainder of the season. Aaron Jones keeping his trend, so he should be doing double digits this week. Are the Giants for real?
That's what everybody's asking. It's not pretty when they play, except for
They
Saquon.
get it done. Yeah,
Except for Saquon, that is a very hard team to watch. But their defense has been solid.
All Daniel Jones just has to do is just not turn the ball over. If you can just go out there and throw for 180 yards, maybe a score.
For me, run the Wildcat with him. And it's either you run or you hand to Saquon. And you don't pass it all because Darius Slayton ain't the answer.
No.
And they have no targets.
They've
Like,
got
no one to throw the ball to. It is.
Yeah.
It's
Bellinger's out there getting catches. I was like, who's going on?
Daniel Bellinger, who are you?
Looking at Godwin, he put up 9.4 against Kansas City and then 9.3 against Atlanta. Is that his peak for the year?
Well, no, he's still on the snap count, I think. I think they're easing him back in. But
well, this week should be his week. He's got Pittsburgh coming up.
Weeks.
He's got a couple of favorable matchups if you actually look at it. Not only at Pittsburgh, then at Carolina, Baltimore. All three of those have been pretty bad against the All three of those have been pretty bad against the pass. So you could see him if he's going to break out. It would be 3 good opportunities coming up.
Yeah.
I think a person that kind of surprised me a little bit is Aaron Jones. So I feel like that backfield's difficult to read right now. Like, there's a couple games where him and AJ both have fantasy value at the same game, and then we turn around and
I've got AJ Dillon. He scored 1 time this year, and that was week 1. I've had Aaron Jones the past few years, and basically Aaron Jones, he'll have 30 or 40 one week, and then 5 or 6 the next. And then he'll have like a couple of those 5 or 6 games, but then he'll blow up for 30 or 40 again. So like on the end of the season, he looks fantastic. Yeah. But if you look at it from a consistency basis, he's giving you.
You don't know when to start.
You would think Green Bay would be relying on their running game more, especially this should the most they've ever done should be this year.
They ran. It was like week 2 or 3. They ran both of them on the field at the same time, and they would put one in motion or whatever, and it was They were moving the ball great. It opened up the passing game. And they just abandoned it. Now it's just basically they're just alternating series again.
So listen to his yards: 49, 132, 36, 110, 63. Like you can see a pattern.
But
Where
this week, 130.
We'll get to those
Well,
later.
All right. So congratulations, Tyler, getting that first win of the season.
Before we leave this matchup,
Go ahead.
one quick question. We drafted again tomorrow. Does Nick Chubb go number 1 overall?
Oh my God!
I mean, he is hands down the best runner in the NFL. I feel like, but now talking about fantasy,
that's a common refrain on this podcast.
Yeah.
He's the best runner.
Could you imagine right now if Kareem Hunt wasn't there, taking as many opportunities away from him?
Because he
as
gets
It's like
15 plus
even that
touches
week in
a game.
Carolina where Kareem Hunt had 21 fantasy points because he kept getting the red zone looks. Like if those had been Chubb's opportunities, he would have not only scored on those, his fantasy numbers would be absurd right now. I mean,
I almost think you could flip second-round running backs with first-round running backs from this year's draft.
14,
be
30.
solid.
Oh, yeah. 14, 30, 17, 19, 25. And I said that first week with the 14, that could have easily been 30 in that week.
And
So
that's getting no catches.
I was going to say that's crazy.
Yes.
He's not involved in the passing game. That's just purely.
And it's also Kareem Hunt inside the 5. They'll put Kareem Hunt in there for some reason, like, oh, he's a better goal line back. Nobody stops this guy between from the 20 to the 20. Let him go all the way through the field. And he scored.
I just wanted to touch on
No,
that. I was looking
I-
at that the other day, and I was just like, how
would
is this guy not?
you consider Chubb or Saquon? Which
Yeah,
nobody thought those would be number 1 overall.
I like
You took
Saquon,
Chubb, what,
Pat.
number 2 overall a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I took him
Was it
super
last year?
high.
2 years ago.
Last year, or 2 years
Or 2
ago, you
years
took
ago.
Chubb like second, and McCaffrey.
That was the year like half of the first round picks got season-ending injuries.
That was the year where nobody wanted to take Saquon. I mean, McCaffrey won. You didn't want to take McCaffrey.
He didn't take McCaffrey one. I took McCaffrey 2. He lost Saquon week 2. I lost McCaffrey week 3.
So I'm saying, like, the 2 that you've taken early, Saquon and Chubb, the past couple of years, okay, legitimately
Yeah.
could be
Number 1
if
pick.
we redraft.
So who would you pick one? I think that's a really fun question. Like,
Cooper Cup?
okay,
I'm looking
I mean, there's
that's a good.
I mean, he's
Good choice.
As far as consistency,
Yeah.
for the past 2 years, the dude is 20 plus.
And he gets receptions, which I think is so critical to look at in a half-point PPR. Like if he's
And not
getting the
just
same
receptions.
like touchdowns and yards as a
15.
running back,
Yeah.
and then you add in he had 10 receptions, that's 5 extra points.
15 to 16 targets a game,
Yes.
basically. Like, that's just a guaranteed workload that you get from running backs, except for he's doing it as a wide receiver. All right, moving on.
that takes Autonomy of America to 1-4 to 9th overall in the standings.
Yes.
Mars Chubby to 2 and 3 and in 6th place. What's our next matchup?
Next one is Ryan versus Mikkel.
Ryan being Mike. Y'all want to talk shit to each other while you're facing each other, or just want to go over the matchup?
No, let me do it back to back.
Fine. Original projection was 131.14 for Fantasy Phenoms. I have to do it for him. He's not here.
Yeah.
110.6 for League versus Me. Close, just backwards. Finished
Yeah,
up
y'all could
a
flip it.
134, 111 win for League versus Me.
All right, y'all don't say anything. We're going to flip it. Everybody in agreement? We flip it.
I'm going to have to disagree.
All right, okay. I'm just asking. Y'all brought it up.
So Josh Allen had a really good game. The problem was he had a really good game to Gabriel Davis.
Just look at
It would only be bad if the guy you were playing at Gabe Davis.
Look at the 3 Bills that got started in this matchup.
Yeah, I know.
Just
43, 20, and 30.
What do you got? 350 yards at halftime at 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, I thought he was going to break the record.
Yeah.
If Pittsburgh could have just kept it,
He only played 3
somewhat
quarters.
close.
I think he played, 2 minutes into the 4th quarter, basically? Or
Yeah.
maybe not even.
it is so funny just
That's
looking
the
at
third
Gabe
time he's had
Davis's stat line.
Game log.
Three receptions, 171 yards, 2 touchdowns.
It was video game, Mike.
It was Randy Ball's Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
That's what we said
I
a
was
while ago.
pissed. 1 catch, 98 yards, and a touchdown, like 3 minutes into the game. I said, well, that's what you want to see. I wonder who's got him.
It's insane. If you just go over the top line with the final scores, you put up 134 points. Your quarterback put up 10.
Yeah.
His quarterback puts up 43. His number 1 wide receiver puts up 20. And you beat him.
That's wrong. Yeah.
It's like a draw.
I mean, Gabe Davis put up 30. Kamara put up 20. So that evens the Josh Allen spot.
Yeah.
It brings it down a lot.
How about Jacoby Myers? We always used to have a running joke on the podcast last year on bold predictions of when he'd get a touchdown.
Catches, no touchdowns.
And guess what he did this week? found Pater.
And that pretty much ends up being the difference. And Stevenson put up 18.
Well, their big reason behind that is the injury to Damian Harris.
Yeah.
Once Damian Harris went down, Stevenson is
He
the
never
best.
left the field.
Yeah, well, he's the
That's
best
what it
running
should
back.
have been.
He is the better. He's the better.
The only thing that was hurting Stevenson was going back to like the Chubb conversation we just had. If he got inside the 20, it was Harris.
Yeah.
Like Harris was fantasy relevant just because of touchdowns, not yards. He'd have like 40 yards because he got work
James
inside the
Conner.
20s.
It
But he'd
wasn't,
have
it wasn't
two
Lindell
touchdowns.
White, Chris Johnson bad, but it was like he just one of them gets him all the way down the field, and the other guy's like, "Hey, you got a nose for it." Like, well, maybe you get the other guy.
I'm also a little intrigued by the whole injury situation there because they first came out, NFL Network reported that Harris was out for multiple weeks. And then as the week progressed, they're like, well, he's questionable.
Yeah.
Like
Limited,
he's limited
in practice,
practice.
but he's just standing there.
Yeah. So I think he's going to be out for a time period. I think Stevenson is going to become extremely valuable. I think he could be a top 10 running back week in and week out because he's in an offense where they don't really trust the quarterback, which is crazy because they don't trust the quarterback. But this dude starts the receiver. He gets 20.
It pains me to put him in a lineup, but
I tell you
I
what,
walk up to Michael's lineup and was like, man, I should have a good shot. Russ Wilson's been terrible. Gabe Davis has basically been a no-show besides the
Talking about Gabe Davis last week?
Yeah.
He
One long
texted
catch.
Yeah.
you know what killed you, Ryan?
Uh,
Lack of touchdowns.
yeah, nobody on my team scored besides I think
Really,
Jordon.
your first two. That's
Right.
it.
Let's talk about Michael Pittman because you and I both were really big on him before the season.
Still am.
Still it.
His targets got to increase.
They got to give Matt Ryan time to throw.
But
He
it's
can't-
horrible.
He can't move in the
Matt
pocket.
Ryan sucks camel dick.
But the fact that
Yay.
No.
maybe he said no. They need to know.
But no, when he came in, Matt Ryan was like, all right, this is the best offensive line he's ever had, best running back he's ever had. He's going to feast on defenses. And then
No.
I mean, look
the
at
offensive line's not good, and Jonathan Taylor's hurt. So it's when Jonathan Taylor gets back, I think Pittman's going to come back to being what he was because they're going to have to put another safety down.
So week one, Michael Pittman, 13 targets, 9 receptions, 121 in the
Healthy
TD.
Jonathan Taylor.
Out week
Offensive
2
line.
because of the
Quad,
quad, wasn't it?
Quad or something, yeah.
Week 3 upon his return, 9 targets, 8 receptions, 72 yards. No touchdown, but that's still pretty good. Yeah, that's a good stat line. Then 6 targets, 3 receptions, 31 yards, 8 targets, 5 receptions, 59 yards. Do you know what's standing out to me? The big play.
Patrick Surtain is a stud.
Well,
He's number
but
one.
yes, that is
Dude's a
true.
freaking
But I think it's also where you don't see the downfield shots that Michael Pittman can make touchdowns off of. And because of that, with just checking it underneath, it limits yards, it limits the offense. Like right now, they're putting so much pressure on Matt Ryan, who's immobile, that he can't throw fades. He can't throw 10-yard plus routes. So everything that Michael Pittman is literally underneath, and everyone rallies and tackles before he does anything.
What I'm hoping happens is the same thing we've seen in Seattle with DK Metcalf. First 3 weeks, Bryan has Metcalf. It was 6-7 catches for 36 yards.
Yeah,
He was getting a ton of catches, but everything was underneath. And then the offense, they kind of get Rashad Penny going and open up the offense. Now he's getting his down the field shots again. And if he scores touchdowns in any of these games, he's looked solid.
Difference is Geno Smith doesn't suck.
Well, he didn't. He will
did.
now.
What was his quote? He said they wrote me off, but I didn't write back though, or something.
Yeah.
One of his.
That's a great quote.
Yeah, whatever it was, it was great. I was like, I hear you, Gino. You've been thinking about that for a while.
He had
that.
Ryan, I think the person that I thought looked pretty good on your roster and would have been benefiting from touchdowns are both of your running backs. Melvin Gordon with over 100 yards on the day, 54 rushing, 49 receiving. That offense is just can't find.
Oh, you talking about
A horrible
Joe Mixon
Thursday night
that's
game
leading the
that
league in touches and has only scored one time all
Yes,
season?
and then he was at 88 total yards, 3 receptions, 10 yards, and 78 rushing. But since he can't play with a lead, so
Since
like
who
it,
can't play with the lead.
You said Cincy,
since
like since he,
Oh.
Cincy. Play on words. This guy's clever. You're not. Continue. Damn.
that was just really
Okay.
hurtful. I don't really want to
I
talk
don't know.
about it.
I
I didn't
appreciate
want to
you.
talk about it.
I appreciate you.
Hey, I'm not hosting or producing. I'm just scribing.
Scribe.
Bitch.
But yeah, my team hasn't scored touchdowns the past 2 weeks, and I've only lost those 2 weeks, and that's what happened. Josh Allen, thank you, buddy.
That brings
Yeah,
Ryan.
You did his part.
That brings Ryan to 3-2 in third place on the year. League versus me. Michael puts him at 2-3, 8th place.
Which I wouldn't have dropped David and Joker now. Good call.
I appreciate that.
Well, I had Kittle at the time,
He's coming
so
back.
I wasn't worried about
He's
it.
coming back.
The resurgence. Yes, joke's on you.
What's our next matchup?
Next one's Jake versus Scorp.
Jake versus Scorp. Original projection 121.73 to 124.12 in favor of Scorp. Final 126.84 for Turd Sandwiches.
Sandwich.
91.98 for Scorpion King. Boy, T. Higgins, huh?
Scorp got hurt by 2 early injuries.
Yep.
99's got lit up
Yeah, that was
on that play. And then T. Higgins shouldn't have been active.
Yeah,
but
he
they
should
made him
never
active.
played.
And
Yeah,
then
never
they
played.
just basically said, oh, yeah, he's on the sideline, but he's only – Zach Taylor, the coach, came out and said we would still have put him in if the situation was right. You lost the game by 2, and you had, I think, a couple things in the red zone. I think that would have been
a
the situation to be right, to have a 6-foot-something wide receiver in the red zone. But
So let's talk about – I want to ask this question because it applies to both of our wide receiver ones according to our lineup here.
Okay.
What offense has been more disappointing to you so far this season? The team that went to a Super Bowl last year, the team that went out and spent money improving their offensive line,
yes,
that you thought were going to average over 30 points a game.
Yes.
Well, we know who you're picking.
Well, no, Cincy or Denver,
I figured that.
who trades for
I
Russell
thought you were
Wilson.
going
They're
with
supposed to have
both
3.
teams that were in the Super Bowl.
Oh, the Rams. I mean,
I
yeah.
mean, there's
But see,
there's a ton of disappointment.
At least a lot of us had question about the Rams coming into it without Odell. Stafford's
Odell,
elbow
yeah.
being hurt. They didn't know who the
Sorry.
running back was going to be. We didn't know who the running back was going to be. Like, I had at least some questions about the Rams offense, but I thought Cincy and Denver were going to be averaging major points. Like, their offenses were going to be big.
Yeah. I thought
We
Cincy's
lost
offensive
Bryan.
line. Cincy's offensive line was supposed to be rebuilt. It was supposed to give Joe Burrow a ton of time to throw, not get sacked,
Yep.
and then Joe Mixon be able to run the ball. None of those
They
have
haven't.
happened.
That's not happened.
Joe Burrow's still been pretty good, but he's spreading it around. Hayden Hurst is getting a lot of targets. What in the world's going on here? I don't
Yeah,
like
Hayden Hurst is.
Jamar Chase has yet to really catch on this year. No pun intended.
Yes.
And
Stripes on the ball.
Chase and Higgins, you would think that's
How far? How far would you chase Higgins?
it depends on what
He's
he
a
did.
fast fella.
Depends on what
So
he did.
here's
But
the thing that I don't.
They're not doing anything. There's just nothing.
Why are you chasing?
There's just nothing there.
Well, here's the thing that I brought up with Michael Pittman a while ago is that if I actually look at Jamar Chase and targets, and that's what I base a lot of my
He's
receiver
involved.
analysis on. He's got 16 receptions, 16 targets, 9 targets, 10 targets, 6 targets, 12 targets.
What was that?
6.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
And then
Was it-
receptions 10, 5, 6, 4, 7, and the yards are just all under 100 except for week 1. I don't know if what we brought up a while ago is like Joe Burrow just can't throw downfield. And I know
He
he's
doesn't
being
have
double
time to
covered.
go
I
to
know
that.
he's trying to win quick routes. Like watching the game on Sunday Night Football, he had a lot of screens. That was a lot of his
Yes.
early action was like, hey, we're just going to throw it to him now. Try to get the lineman out there to make like a springing block and see if he can take it for a big play. And he didn't. I mean, then again, the lineman didn't really get out there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It has been,
It's been a weird season.
yeah.
The studs are not doing great, and then some of the studs are doing
I agree.
No,
Don't you look at me like I agree. And what else you need me to say?
Now, Devontae Adams' situation there. Do we think he's going to get suspended?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
got
right.
charges filed against him.
So
But they went down from a misdemeanor to like a city violation or city ordinance or some
Yeah.
kind of something. So I
they
don't
said
know if
the
it's
one
gonna-
thing that's good is that he is on bye week this week to allow things to hopefully just like you have a
Simmer
week
down.
of games, people forget about it because
Yeah.
it's not like, is he going to play this week after shoving the cameraman? But let's
He might
also
be able to
talk about
watch
the
on
whole
that
situation.
fight.
I watched the Barstool Sports analysis of what happened,
Yeah.
and he said the guy literally filed charges because he walked in front of a player who just lost the game and was frustrated because him and Renfro like ran into each other on the final play, and you cut in front of him like he shoved you and apologized. It wasn't like he got over you and was like, "What up, bitch?"
Now,
Like,
if he was immediately remorseful, he would have gone over and
Helped
helped the guy
him
up.
up.
But still, Rappaport and Tom Pelissero and the other insiders for NFL Network we're talking said most stadiums have that area right
Roped
by
off.
the tunnel roped off where you can't walk in front of it. Oh, they'll have security guards like holding you off so you can't walk in front of the players going in the tunnel.
And it
They said
was
that's the only rule when you're on the sidelines. Like, hey, don't get in the players' way when they're coming on the field and off the field.
and
And then just walk right in front of them.
if I work for Vegas, that's what I'm bringing up. It's like, first off, they should have had security making sure
They
that
did.
their
There was a guy in
players.
a yellow shirt standing right
Well-
there, and he just stood there like, okay, you Devontae.
They-
Like, what are you doing? He had a yellow wristband on, too. I'm not sure why. Tell me.
He's not allowed to drink there.
Oh, okay. That's what he had.
Underage.
Yes.
Devontae had a good game though.
Child labor.
Had a great
Devontae's
Yeah.
had a fairly good year. He's
Yeah.
been able to
He only had three.
withstand Carr.
He only had 3
Well,
catches.
I was about to say he had 7 targets, only 3 catches, 124 yards, and 2
He makes
touchdowns.
most of it when he
Kind of
comes
like a
in.
Gabe Davis.
Gabe Davis. Yeah.
The person
But
that
when they get into third down and they get in the red zone, Devontae's the first read.
the person that I've been most surprised off my team so far this year is Tyler Lockett. I took him on name value only.
Told you still
I took him on name value only in like the 15th round. Just because his name's Tyler Lockett, and he always was like underneath available, and I was like, whatever. Like
He's super
I'll
talented.
take him because I don't know if these other guys that are still available are going to be doing anything. And I mean, he's put up really good stats this season. After week 1, 4.3, he's had 15-2, 12-1, 10, and then 25.
Brees Hall seems like he's here to stay.
Yes.
I think he's grabbed the
He
RB1 in that.
He had 26.7.
And
And
not
I
Michael
mean,
Carter
I
stole
think
2
he got
touchdowns.
pulled off at the 1 twice, and Michael Carter punched him.
Yeah,
from
Michael
there
Carter-
both times. He could have went for 40.
Well, he had that big reception on a wheel route that he caught.
He had like 2
It was like-
catches, I think, for like 100
Yeah,
yards.
and he got tackled at the 1, and I was like, all right, they're going to let him finish. He was in on the play, but it was like a fullback dive to Michael Carter, and he like faked.
Because if you want to do a fullback dive, you're going to
Yeah.
put like a 185 pound running
Well,
back.
Makes
that-
sense.
Like,
it-
perfect sense.
They do a lot of formations with both of them in, where it's like an option out the one way with the counter
before,
coming
take
underneath
notes.
it. Yeah.
Dylan and Jones, take notes. That's all I'm saying. Use them both.
Yeah, both.
I hope he continues to get more opportunity. It's kind of a like fantasy versus fandom because I like Michael Carter because Carolina connection, but Brees Hall is a better back.
He is
Oh,
better.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not
Brees
close.
Brees Hall was the best back in the draft, and
Yeah.
it wasn't close.
That's why they traded up to get him, correct?
I don't know how much they traded, but yeah, I think they did.
That takes Third Sandwiches to 2-3, 7th place.
Yes.
Scorpion King drops to 3-2 and in 4th place. I mean, he's not really struggling. You know.
We'll talk about it.
What's our next matchup?
Next matchup.
Next matchup is Bryan versus Andrew Ransdiddy.
God, Lee. Talk about the freaking
There we go. Look at this.
most points put up in the season so far, huh?
I mean,
It was just a beautiful day.
yeah,
I called
it's just
Andrew.
playing for second
I
place.
called Andrew at 3 o'clock and I said it's over.
You know what the best
He
thing?
didn't have anybody go yet.
Yeah.
No, he didn't.
Actually, no, Conklin wins.
I feel like at one point I looked at the matchup and it was like 100 and something to 0.
Yeah.
And I was like, what in the
No,
world
I
is
had a
it?
beautiful every 15 minutes. You were talking about Ryan had a lack of touchdowns. I mean, my week was nothing but.
I saw
Yeah.
a projected total for your matchup. I think it was in the 4 o'clock games, and you were at like 194.
Yeah. I mean, my guys were rolling.
I was like, if we got somebody go for
Dude,
200,
One of your biggest let-ups was your quarterback.
I know.
hey,
I'm just saying.
fantasy wise, yes, but Austin Eckler was a man in that game. They didn't need him
Well,
to throw.
There was a slight call sent in a Olave concussion protocol. It's still up in the air. I just find it hard. I think it'll be difficult for him to play this week because the whole.
Which they said he's progressing well through it.
He
But
is
still,
progressing
it's
well.
the Tua thing.
It's the Tua thing, and nobody wants to be under that microscope right now. That's a hot light to be underneath. So I don't know, but Henry is finally turning into Henry. Fournette finally having a good game. Goddard, Mostert's making me look like a genius right now. I'm not sure that'll change.
no, he's
You'll still
Clearly
be-
has that
I mean,
RB1 job.
His injury.
So apparently, I drafted all the running backs on teams who said they were going to be the RB1, and they're not.
How's that feel?
Bad.
Okay.
On
I drafted a
Andrew's,
bunch of RB2s and the RB1s got hurt. So
on Andrew's side, his highest scoring player was
Aaron
the
Jones, come on, buddy.
Taysom Hill.
Taysom.
Had himself a day.
All right, we have told him there's no way that you start Taysom Hill
Wait a
all
second.
season.
Before this,
Do I
before you
still
get
feel
this
right?
way, Andrew has told me something about this podcast. I'll tell you what he said after y'all were done, but I do want y'all to discuss Taysom Hill.
Okay. I still don't feel comfortable putting him in there as an everyday start just because of he's only getting 2 to 3 to 4 touches a game.
Jake, you got his stats pulled up?
But I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's 3rd in the league in rushing touchdowns. 3rd or 4th in the league behind Chubb and maybe Jalen Hurts.
Let's see. He has 5 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
So he has
As
4.
a quarterback playing tight end.
Well, which I haven't seen
But
him
he
at
doesn't play
tight end
tight
yet.
The definition of him is Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder.
He's a dude disguised as a dude playing another dude.
That's exactly what he's doing on the end.
And I'm just Ben Stiller because I went full retard. Is that what's going on? Sorry.
Hey!
Whoa!
Oh, we're not that.
You never go full retard.
Whoa! Stop using it.
What's
I ain't
crazy?
saying
What's crazy? He's a quarterback playing tight end.
He's not playing tight end.
He's
He's
back at
playing
quarterback.
running back.
At running
But
back.
He's eligible at tight end. He's only eligible tight end. He doesn't play.
Has no receiving touchdowns on the year.
I think he's only got like 1 catch, maybe.
Wait a second. I'm gonna look at
Look at how many catches he's got, Jake. Can you see it on there?
He's got 1 reception.
One reception.
Well,
on the year.
in his defense, he's only been targeted 1 time.
100% catch. He's got
He
one.
has one
one
passing touchdown. What do you do with this guy? They don't know what to do with this guy.
No, I think when Jameis comes back,
Uh-huh.
I don't know if he'll be used as much because they've been using him on
I think
third.
running 2 RB sets.
Yeah, they've been using him on 3rd and short and in the red zone. And they've been taking Andy Dalton off the field. Do you take Jameis out of the game when he comes back? Or they're doing anything else working? So I don't know. It's so unpredictable.
He's basically
Like Jake was talking about targets. For me, with running backs, the same thing with carries.
He right
He's
now would
technically a
be
tight end. He's
a
not
college.
getting any
He
targets.
would be a college football dream.
He is Tim
The
Tebow.
schemes they would put up for this guy.
If
He's
Tim
the number one
Tebow
Heisman
played
guy.
for Sean Payton,
Uh-huh.
could this have been what he did?
I don't know because Taysom Hill doesn't play for Sean Payton.
But he would have never gotten a shot if Sean Payton didn't fall in love with him.
It's his eyes. He's a handsome man.
He's a dreamy fellow.
He is.
Latter-day Saint and whatnot.
So my biggest concern with him is he's like
It's unpredictable.
yes, like he's a plug guy. Like
It's a
in a
plug-
situation, you plug him in, he does something. But if that situation doesn't come about, he's not on the field. Does that make sense?
But
It's-
I mean, look at it this way. All right, he's obviously week 2, he did jack shit. Week 1, he put up 14. Week 2, 1.4. He didn't play versus Carolina. He put up 8 versus Minnesota, 36 versus Seattle. If you just, as far as tight ends go, where's he ranked? Fantasy-wise.
Probably. Well, no, fantasy-wise, he's probably 3rd.
Let's look.
I'd say Kelsey.
I'm doing it, pulling it up.
I'd say Kelsey's 1, Andrews is 2. He might be 3rd.
If he's number 3 fantasy tight end,
But it's all happening in, I think Hawkinson might be 4th. He's had one good game, and then the rest of them been garbage. I think the only week Andrew has started him was week 2 when he put up 1.
and he
so
keeps blaming. He keeps blaming us for the reason he doesn't start. But I keep telling him, I have never been able to convince him to do anything else in his entire life. So if he's picked the one thing he'll listen to is Taysom Hill and Rams.
The number 1 tight end, Kelsey.
Yeah.
Number 2, Andrews. 95 to 75, 20-point gap there. 3rd is Taysom Hill with 60 points.
What's
So
4?
15 points. 4th is
probably, right?
Hawkinson, 4 points behind him.
Okay. But you look
Goddard is 9 points behind Hill. And then Zach Ertz is 10 points behind Hill. And then it's kind of a drop off to Higbee.
Yeah, but if you look at those numbers, Hawkinson had a 36-point week last week. The rest of them have been single digits, I think. Taysom Hill had, 30 or 40 last week.
So,
So
Hawkinson.
basically they've gotten most of their production, at least half of it, in 1 week. So it's tough to start.
So Hawkinson's had 2 fantasy relevant weeks: 5.8, 4.1,
In the last 2
9.3, 35.9, 1.1. I would only take 2 of those weeks and be like, yeah, I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
Now the 1 week he wins me because he went for 35 is awesome, but yeah, but do you take Hill out just because of how versatile he is?
It's
That's
so
the thing,
tough.
man.
So if he's
So
been that productive so far, do you think that the Saints are saying we have to find more ways to get him
Consistently get him involved. I
Yes.
don't know.
But if you just base it off of fantasy rankings for his position, if you have the number 3 running back, number 3 wide receiver, number 3 defense, number 3 quarterback,
You're starting him
you're
every week.
starting him every week.
Yes.
So we're basically sitting here trying to justify a way not to start the number 3 tight end for that fantasy football.
It's similar to that conversation I just had about Aaron Jones, though. You start him that 1 week that he has that fantasy boom where he goes for 30 or 40, you look like a genius.
Mm-hmm.
But every other week where he's in single digits, you're hurting because you're like, man, I was really expecting him to go off, and he just was a dud. So it's kind of what Derrick Henry used to do like 4 or 5 years ago, where he'd be average to below average all season, and the week 14, 15, 16, 17, he'd go for like 203.
Yeah.
And at the end of the season, like, oh, he's running back 3. He's running back 4. How'd that happen?
Right.
Well,
But you were disappointed.
all I know is it still wouldn't have mattered.
If you look like take Gabe Davis, for instance.
Second.
Mike's got. He's high risk, high reward.
Yeah.
He's put up 16, 0, 5.2, 1.8, 30.6. That's very similar to Taysom Hill.
Yep. Exactly.
Are you even thinking about taking him out your lineup?
No, that's what I was going to say. Andrew, if you're listening, you start Taysom Hill every single week. If you don't have one of the – and I'm
If you
not
don't have
including
Andrew
Taysom.
Kelsey.
Yeah, if you don't have anybody that's consistent, would you rather have what's Conklin's ceiling, probably like 12 points?
And he still could put up a 0.
Yeah,
he can still put up a 0.
Or would you
He
have
did put up a 0,
36 from Taysom
Yeah.
Hill, and he can still put up a 0.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody else at
So
tight
you're
end
saying
has
the
that
boom
ceiling.
is worth the bust.
Yes, absolutely.
Because
You got
everyone
0
else
from-
you could put in could also bust, but their boom is not as
Have
big.
Exactly.
you looked?
Unless
have you
he's
looked
got
at, do you
a
have
tight
any leagues you play ESPN?
No.
Okay.
Well, we're not talking about other leagues.
Tight
Just
tight
listen,
end is so
listen.
You hear this guy?
Yes.
Listen, so whenever you look at your player, it has underneath a boom bust meter. Taysom Hill's has to be, and average is like a 28 for boom and maybe like a 25 bust, whatever.
His risk rating is 9.
His has to be like a 90 thing. 90% chance he booms, 90% chance he busts.
I don't think that math adds up.
No, it's 2 different meters.
Oh,
Out of 100, what's the likelihood he would boom? And then also out of 100, what's the likelihood?
okay. It's like a
Right.
So it could be a 25-25 thing. It could be a 50-50 thing.
It still doesn't matter. Even with those 30 points he left on his bench, he still would have been
Oh, no,
20
no,
points.
no. He still would've
He
lost.
still got his buck. Yeah, I
But
mean,
you
like,
still
but you would have kicked anyone's butt this week.
But you wouldn't have regretted making the roster
No.
decision. Like when I get beat by a team that puts up as many points as Bryan did, I'm like, at least I wanted to have my optimal lineup. Like
Yeah.
I did as much as I possibly could, and still got beat.
I always look at myself when I get my ass beat like that. I always look at the other teams like, oh, I would have beaten him. I'd have beaten him.
Yeah.
It's like Brock Lesnar kicked my ass, but if I'm on the playground, I can kick every single kindergartner's ass.
I did. There is a league format.
Sometimes I need a whooping, Jake.
I don't know how you do it. There's a league format where you do it where it's you go head to head. So our team's 10-team league.
Uh-huh.
So you'll have a win or loss every week. But then you also have another one where it's like,
The
what
league
would
average?
what would your record be against the league average? And you're like, so every week you could go 2-2 or 2-0, 1-1, or 0-2.
Yeah.
Like whoever you beat in your one-on-one matchup, and then did you beat the league average?
Yeah.
I don't know if you can do it on Yahoo, but on my sleeper app.
Yeah, that's
But
exactly what I saw. It was on
That's how
Sleeper.
we.
Yeah, so I think
do it.
I like that because it's one of those things where, like, maybe I just had a bad matchup this week, but I would have beaten everybody else, so I still get a win. So instead of being like 14-0, you could be 28-0 if you
Yeah.
were dominant. Which ain't gonna happen unless you're Jordan.
Unless you're Jordan.
But we'll get to him.
We're
Golly.
gonna talk about him.
Woo! That brings victim of the system me to 2-3 on the year in 5th place. It's odd. I never thought I could have a losing record and
Yes,
be in
it
5th
is.
place. And it takes Smith-Schuster and the Jujus to 1-4 in 10th place. What's our next matchup? Which should be our last
It's
matchup.
the matchup of the week. We've been doing matchup review for a long time. It's JT versus Jordan.
Yeah, we haven't done matchup review for a while. It has been a good
We need
conversation.
Michael back.
We needed him back.
I'm here.
I opened up a second energy drink, by the way, so it's
Yeah.
it was just sitting in front of me.
There you go. You had
So we talked about it last week. Jordan's fantasy defense, and it showed up. It showed up big time. The original projection was 133.47 in favor of cult personality, 125.25 for team with no name. See what I did there? Made him change his name again.
Yes.
Final score:
Which is very
109.16.
unoriginal because I've had a fantasy team like 5 or 6 years ago. It's called A Team Has No Name. It was based off of Game of Thrones. I don't know why he made his team that way.
Because I called him Fire Crotch repeatedly last week.
What does that have to do with the team with no name?
I don't know. I'm just trying to take credit for him changing his team.
Yeah, it is 100%.
Yeah, 100%,
You
bro.
did.
100%.
Somebody
Thank
else
you.
did.
That was you.
Thank you. Final score: 109.16 cult personality, 140.08 for team with no name.
Good job, Jordan.
33.9 for Eckler.
He's back.
30 for Kelsey, had a huge Monday night. 18 for Andrews. I was surprised Tampa only putting up 10 against Atlanta. JT.
That was a game that Atlanta could have legitimately won. Besides that,
They could have, yeah.
roughing the passer on Grady Jarrett.
An injured, limping Tyreek Hill, still able to put up 9. The $100 man, Wilson, puts up 4. Barkley's status quo for him, 18.
He left the game briefly with a shoulder injury.
Barkley?
Yeah, but came back and scored a touchdown. So all's well.
Jalen Hurts, I mean, right on par with what his projection was going to be.
Yep.
And Cooper Kupp, still doing Cooper Kupp things. The fantasy defense of Jordon strikes again.
Fantasy defense of Jordan strikes again. I think the past couple weeks, Jordan's had like average numbers across the board, and he's had 2 or 3 guys go for 25 or 30.
Yeah.
Well,
And he's carried him. Eckler the past 2 weeks has been 30 plus.
Baller.
Kelsey was 30 plus this week.
We were talking about Eckler having like decreased value.
Eckler
and
wasn't getting used in the
I
red
was
zone
wanting to make a
until
trade for
2
him,
weeks
and I
ago.
didn't. And
You wouldn't have got
You
him.
wish you wouldn't.
yeah, no, I would have offered him like
You
Jamar
would've.
Chase and something else where it would have made a.
You wouldn't have got him. If you want a guy from Georgia's team, you can't get him.
At least enough to
I-
make him think about it.
I feel like
Yeah, we
when
were talking
Jordan,
about that earlier.
I feel like Jordan actually had sent me a trade with Eckler in it,
He might have.
and I was one who was like, man, Eckler is sorry, Philly scored.
He sent me like 3 trades. By the time I actually go to see it, he's
He's
taking it away, and I'm like, I want to at least know
The
what it
longer
was.
he can think about it, the more likely it is to.
This was the shortest one. Though. It was only like 15 minutes. I'm like, oh, Jordan, send me something. Let me check this, and then it's like, where is it?
I'll do that as soon as I see one of the people that I'm trying to trade for gets they pop up on an injury report. I don't know what it is. I just see that they got a question. I'll just take it down. I'll just cancel the trade. But that wasn't this case. But Eckler wasn't getting used in the red zone. They were using Sony Michel. The past 2 weeks, Sony Michel's been phased out of the offense, and Eckler's been using the red zone. He scored like 6 times, I think, the past 2 weeks. So,
The law firm of Kelsey and Andrews still doing their thing every week.
yes.
yeah,
It's
four touchdowns does help.
No, that does.
What more?
He only had 25 receiving yards, but he had 4 touchdowns.
Yes.
That's crazy.
He throws Josh Jacobs in there, and I mean, it gets terrible.
Not for him.
No, for JT.
Yes, that was already.
Yeah, I mean, it's time to put Jacobs back in your lineup.
And it's
time
time
to
to
put-
phase James Robinson out.
It is.
Yeah.
He had a good run, though.
He did have a good run.
Not in the game, though. He was actually pretty poor on the ground.
And
JT hurt not having the full injury knowledge of Montgomery going into that one. Is that fair to kind of say?
Yeah, I think he could.
I think he still kind of wanted to roll Williams with Swift out, which I understand completely. It just New England
I
dominated.
did say Jamal Williams would come back down there.
Look, man, nobody saw New England
England.
shut out Detroit. Nobody saw that.
No.
I would have started Williams 10 times out.
Sure.
We're going to kind of get through this one real quick. That takes Jordan.
to 5-0.
What are you doing, man? God, you're breaking the stride.
You're
You're breaking the stride. That takes Jordan to 5-0.
Ain't nobody going to break my stride. Ain't nobody going to hold me down. Go ahead.
To 5-0, first place on the season. JT with his first loss to 4-1, second place on the season. Ryan, pick up dates.
Pick updates. Last week, I went 4-1. JT went 4-1. Michael and Jake went 3-2.
Damn it.
Brian went 2-3. His first
Open
losing.
the door. Open the door for you.
So
boys.
that brings the season standings to Brian's at 18-7. Ryan is 16-9. Michael and JT are at 15-10, and Jake is at 14.
Damn it. It's not good for me at all right now.
All right.
Sorry, man.
All right.
No, you're
And
not.
What we got on our?
we're going to do bowl prediction review before we go to the stuff for this coming week.
Go ahead.
We didn't write it down. But
Go ahead.
bowl prediction review from last week. Brian said Justin Jefferson scores exactly 23.4 fantasy points. Wrong. He actually scored 24.3. So
You missed him on one.
I didn't see it in my head right. I didn't see it in my head right. It's flashed across.
All right, so that was wrong.
Wrong.
Another one you were pretty close on. Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs combined for 70 plus.
Yeah, I was
fantasy
thinking
points.
about that.
I was. They actually got 63.
Right there.
You
should have said Gabe Davis. You would have had it right.
Astronomical numbers.
I'll gladly take those wrong.
If they would have played the fourth quarter, they would have gotten it.
Yeah.
And then your last one was Alvin Kamara, 150 total yards and a touchdown. That was wrong. He had 194 total yards. He blew the yards out of the water, but Taysom Hill scored all the touchdowns.
Way to go, Taysom.
We never talked about that. Good job, Taysom. All right. Jake had Nick Chubb going for 125 yards and a touchdown. He copied that off of mine, which was right because he had 134 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Congratulations, boys.
Yes, so we both got that one right. Then Jake said Devin Singletary, 100 total yards and a touchdown. It's wrong. You only had 46 total yards and no touchdowns.
Yeah,
46.
Folded.
46.
Then Jake said both Patriots running backs go for 15-plus fantasy points.
One got hurt.
Damian Harris scored 1.7 and Ramondre Stevenson scored 18.5.
Half right.
You did?
But
All
wrong.
wrong if it's half right. Then you said J.K. Dobbins will score twice. He didn't score at all.
Damn.
Then you said Miles Sanders 100 yards and a touchdown. He had 58 rushing yards and no touchdowns.
You just kind of went downhill real quick.
Yeah. Hey, I got one.
You hit that one.
Started off the ads. Like,
Yeah, you gotta be.
Yeah.
I said it before you.
I had typed it, and then you said it like
You didn't
2
say it.
minutes later.
You didn't say it.
Then you
It's like
said
trade you never hit submit on.
JT didn't make any, Michael didn't make any. I said the same Nick Chubb one first. That was right. I said Tyler's team scored 150 fantasy points.
Wrong.
He scored 121.
Wrong.
I said Chris Olave was 140 plus and a touchdown.
Wrong.
54 in touchdowns. That's wrong. And then I said, oh, good Lord. I must have.
Yeah, you were really bad afterwards too.
James Robinson, 2 touchdowns. He
Wrong.
didn't score at all.
He might have played Madden after the game.
Right. So we had 2 correct bowl predictions on the week, and it was the same bowl prediction. So Bryan 0 for 3, Jake 1 for 5, and Ryan 1 for 4.
Mike, we're going to get you to pick up slide forces.
Come on,
brother.
brother.
Very good.
Come on, buddy.
All right.
We need
try.
you. Kyle Pitts is back though this week. So
Jake, what we got next? Yeah.
Waiver wire wrap up.
All righty. What we got this week?
At the
Waiver wire wrap up. All right, first one and the big ticket item of the week was Eno Benjamin.
Went
for $25 to the big guy victim of the system. Competing bids were Scorp with 23, so $2 off. Hate it for you. Jake put 16.
Yes.
Broach put $1, and Ryan put a $0 bid on.
My original.
You also forgot Andrew with $21 on that.
You wrote it down, so you.
Yeah, I forgot it.
On there. But okay, fair enough.
Yes.
All right, you
What's
got
the
it on the
next one?
screen. You want to read it? Alec Pierce next.
Alec Pierce next, $6 to Broach,
Yep.
and the other bids on that, the team with no name, which is Jordan Powell for $5, and Tyler with $3.
We're gonna regret
What
it.
we got next on that?
And the last one was New England for $3 to Trigger Mike. The only other bid on that one was Ryan for $1.
Next week.
New England's look very good defensively. So
All right.
yeah, they got Cleveland, Chicago, Jets, Indy. There are some very good games coming up for that defense.
Had a trade, did we not?
Yes. All right. So, talking about the trade,
Mm-hmm.
it was all centered around.
Talk amongst
Yeah,
yourselves.
talk amongst yourself. We'll get back together. We'll convene and reconvene. All right. Najee Harris.
But Scorp didn't want him. It was no part of
Did
it.
everybody sitting at the table get a trade?
I did
I
not.
got a trade.
I got trade. I got multiple trades. I think I got 4. And
Uh-huh.
I think you got a couple, right?
I got 3.
I don't have a running back that I guess he wanted.
I don't think I have a team that anybody wants. Let's just be honest.
Well,
I want
last
Stevenson.
week.
So.
I wanted it last week. You jerk.
He's talking about trades.
Yeah, I too.
Team for team.
Yeah, team.
Straight up. Straight up.
Straight up.
Saying that because he beat you?
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. All right.
I'll
Okay.
take
All
your
right.
team from last week too. If you want to talk. All right. Well, Najee Harris.
So why do you think he's
They
giving up on
called
his
me.
first round pick?
I think he's hitting the panic button.
Second round pick.
Was it second round?
I think he took Dalvin first. Najee second.
But he was at the turn.
Okay.
He was at the
He was
turn.
at the 9. He was at the 9 spot. I
Okay,
think,
so
or
the
no, he was
second,
at the 10 spot.
Because you were at
literally
9.
back to back.
I was at 8.
You were at 8.
Yeah.
so you don't
I was
know.
at 8. You were at 9.
I don't remember.
I guess you'd have to look at the board to see which one he actually took first.
I think it's Dalvin's first.
Yeah, I think he took Dalvin first. I would have taken Dalvin.
There's no way I would have taken him.
But you wouldn't have had a chance if he had was at 10.
Yeah.
That's right.
It was.
You're right.
You did have a chance. You didn't take it.
Concussion protocol. It's his fault.
He won't be back next week.
The offense is bad.
Good point, Jake. Offense sucks.
The offensive line scoreable. There's
I
zero
think,
movement.
I think this is more a mental thing with Harris.
I think he's hurt. He hurt his foot. He sprained his foot in preseason. Or in
It was the
training
Liz
camp or
Frank,
something.
wasn't it?
Liz
Didn't they
Frank.
say-
Yeah.
But as soon as that
he's
popped
fine.
up, I was
which most of the time that's like season-ending
He was off
injury.
my board. Me and you talked about it at the draft. I said, I don't care if he was there in the 5th round. He was off my board.
I wasn't touching
And that was
it.
on draft night. And it just hasn't been
Do you think it's something with, especially as bad as they are, that he does get shut down?
Well, you know, you remember
if
when
they're smart, they shut him down at least for a few weeks just to let it heal.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't come back,
look at
Home run.
Derrick Henry, when he was struggling, you said, you know, why would you do you keep putting Derrick Henry out because they're just going to load the box against him?
Yep.
Because they obviously can't throw the football.
Yep.
Big difference between Derrick Henry and Najee Harris is
He's a
Derrick
big-
Henry.
Can run
Najee
through
Harris.
people. Yeah.
Right. They know Pittsburgh can't throw the football.
Yeah.
They're going to make them give the ball to Najee Harris, and they're going to live. on
Which is
that.
still like incredible to me. It's like George Pickens.
last year.
No, they're not.
That's the
No,
difference.
it's
Big
very-
Ben would check down.
Last year, I think he got
Kenny
almost
Pickett's
100.
out there
He got almost
Yeah.
100 targets last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Which is outrageous.
Actually, that's where I think a lot of his fantasy value was
That
he
he-
was such a good
Get the
receiver.
ball, get the ball to
He
him in
was
his
not-
face.
He was not efficient last year.
No.
But he got. He might have led the league in touches. I don't know.
He did.
Like,
He
he
was
had like
I mean, he would
380. It
He
was
would
something
get
crazy.
40 touches a game.
Yeah,
He would
it's-
average 2.3 yards, but
But
He
his
get 20 carries
yeah.
and eventually.
his usage or his effectiveness was because he was getting used so much.
Mhm.
This year, he's not efficient, but he's not getting that usage. So it's kind of like he's a middle and run back. And then last week, Jalen Warren, the rookie they have, I think he was almost 50% snaps. Like it was up there.
Yeah.
The whole thing about Najee and every running back from Pittsburgh ever since Tomlin's been there is it's one guy, they're getting all the carries,
Yeah.
all the touches.
it's been a long time since there's been a running back who, before the season, was so highly touted that has fallen off like this.
Bishop Sankey or CJ Spiller?
No, Bishop Sankey wasn't that high.
CJ Spiller.
I was that high on Bishop Sankey.
Yes.
But you can't really fully say it was injury.
I think if it comes out that he's still dealing with that foot sprain or whatever, that
But you don't think
fracture.
the team doctors are keeping big check? I mean, if
Tomlin's
I'm
never had a
Pittsburgh,
losing record, so maybe
I don't know.
he said, "Hey, buddy, wrap that thing up, get out there." I don't know.
But also, I mean, as bad as he's been, we're a quarter of the way through the season.
Right.
Or actually, we're every quarter of the way through the season.
So
This is where you got
So
to take draft capital out of it and say, "Hey, is this guy
You've got to
available or
make that
not?"
money.
do y'all want to actually look at the trades?
Yeah, we can. We established how
Yeah.
much Najee.
All right. So we looked at his actual fantasy value, and the first trade that Najee was in was
they got
for
accepted.
that was accepted and then vetoed by the league,
Right. Okay.
which was Isaiah
Isaiah Pacheco.
Pacheco.
Why did we drink it? We did it again.
So
we gotta let
we-
you say
we-
names.
well, I know. Thank y'all for that. So this is in a league that has rarely ever vetoed trades.
Mhm.
It's now the twice. All right. And me and Michael were first. Me and Michael had agreed upon the Brees Hall and Christian Kirk and then Javante tore multiple
Tore
things.
ACL.
And
Now, hold on a
his-
second before we get that. Jacoby Myers was a throw-in in that deal. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Yes.
He just said, who are you going to
Yeah, and I literally
But
said,
that's not a throw-in anymore because
no, he had a good week.
No.
So, but then the way the trade was viewed after the injury report, while it was still pending, was basically you were giving up Brees Hall and Christian Kirk for Jacoby Myers, and then that's where the league was like, yes, and that's where the league was like, all right, that wasn't what the initial idea was supposed to be, and other than you trading for just a receiver, you getting two guys that were starters, we're gonna veto it, and then you make a trade for a running back anyways with Kamara. And kind of replace the Brees Hall in that one, which we talked about that one last week. Well, this one, there is no injury.
Well, we don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, as far as there
in
wasn't
terms of
injury-
there,
so
when
there
the
was no
trade was
veto
accepted,
reason.
there wasn't like after the trade was accepted, the player got hurt that day and dramatically changed the way the trade was viewed. If that makes
the
sense.
status quo from when the trade was offered and accepted is the same.
Well, here's both people knew what the trade was.
They knew what they were getting into when they signed it.
Yes.
They are who we thought.
And it wasn't that something was
Played
sent
in the
out
game.
where, and again, from a league standpoint,
We're talking
if
about practice.
we got something saying I hit
Oh,
the
man,
wrong button, which I know that sounds funny, like I checked the wrong box when we were in fourth grade and I said I would go out with someone and I didn't actually mean to go out with them.
That's how I kept voting for Hillary Clinton.
You didn't even joke about that shit.
It was an agreed upon trade.
With
It was an agreed upon trade between two guys that,
two consenting adults.
yeah.
Jake, get to your point here.
Well, I mean, I guess I was like, why would you have vetoed it?
Right. I've made my stance clear. I don't like vetoing trades because the two people that are in the trade had to agree upon it, so they liked it at the beginning. Like I
Yep.
said, I wanted to veto my trade with Scorp when I first made it.
Unless we thought there
Actually get 'em.
was collusion.
Yeah.
Where it was like,
Collusion.
like this person's out of it and they got a really good player and
That's why the vetoes came into being
yeah.
was because of collusion
yes.
or the threat of it.
Yes.
Look, I tried to get one of them banned from the league. Now,
Yeah, I mean-
that was the first fucking place and undefeated. Way to go, fellas.
Just wait till the playoffs.
I don't know.
I can't say that he beat my ass.
What was it a good trade? No. I will be the first one to say it. That I mean, I even told Tyler that I was like, look, man, like you obviously won the trade huge in that situation because you traded a backup running back for a second round RB1, and to his credit, but he said he offered it.
Right.
I accepted it.
He was pissed when he got accepted in the second trade.
Well, yeah, because now you turn around and say, well, did the trade get vetoed because he got a better offer after the trade had already been accepted? So, like, for a situation, if, like, immediately our trade was vetoed, then the person that you were, like, I was wanting Javonte Heck got hurt, and you turned and traded it for something else, I'd be like, what the heck? Like, I thought we had a deal, and it got vetoed so you could turn around and do it for a better deal. But
Where are you getting at here, Jake?
I was just kind of looking at the trade.
I just want to see where we were going.
No, I mean, it is something where it was interesting to see it get vetoed, and then within a day, it was another trade.
That was a little bit.
So you're trying to say, like, do you think that there was a deal in principle made, and then somebody else made a better offer, so then he vetoed it himself?
I don't know.
I think ultimately it came down to Sperry was kind of like I did with Kamara. He was tired of looking at him.
Yeah.
He could not make himself take him out of his lineup. He couldn't do it because he knew he had that feeling. As soon as he took him out of his lineup, he was going to go off.
Take some heels,
and he just didn't want to deal with it. He didn't want to deal with it. So that's why all these trades started going out. He was just throwing it out there, darts on the board, seeing what would catch.
But so, for an example, if you were trading Kamara and you had agreed with Michael for DJ Moore, and then I was like, dang, dude, I wish you had told me that, I would have gave you Devontae Adams. And then the trade got vetoed, and then all of a sudden the next day, me and you have that trade.
Yeah. But listen, okay, just put it on the table. Everybody open up. Did Sperry get in touch with anybody and ask them to veto the trade?
He did not contact me.
He did not contact me. So then I don't think that.
No, I don't think it was.
Yeah.
So
if Bryan was like, well, yeah, Sperry.
It could have legitimately been that people looking at that trade said
it was a bad trade.
This isn't so much a conversation about the trade; it's so much a conversation about the veto.
It's the veto process. Because we're fine with the trade because both guys, both consenting adults, both sober men, agreed to the deal, and then we don't know what happened.
I think the second trade was a better trade. Let me say that. In terms of much better. When Mitchell comes back,
it's much better when guys on IR.
Yeah. Well, when he comes back, he is a legit.
He's supposed to be the number one.
Running
the offense with a great offensive
line. And you don't know about Harris's health moving forward on a bad team that might just say we're going to shut you down because we don't want to make anything work.
Oh, you McCaffrey the hell out of this thing at this point. This is not.
He's had 3 or 4 since we've been here.
That's my 4th one here. I've had 5 at home.
I love it.
Okay.
Put IV in, just straight to the source.
Right.
Speaking of the Kamara trade, that shocked me whenever you sent that. That caught me off guard.
Look, I pretty much made it known I was done with him.
I didn't know that. So I would have sent
Kamara's draft night when he got drafted.
I would have sent something.
I liked Mostert. I liked where he was going, and I was going to be struggling between the two of them. And me and Jake have been talking on and off, just general conversation about how I want a true number 1 wide receiver. Mike Williams is right now. When Keenan Allen comes back, that's likely to change.
Yeah, 1B.
And DJ, it's there. You know, I know
change a coach, maybe change a quarterback. DJ still has the potential to be.
Matt Rule's ass is finally gone.
Yeah.
But it's like Jake said earlier. I mean, it's still Ben McAdoo's offense, so maybe something changed. You'll find out this week. Well, kind of, sort of, because PJ's in.
The only reason I hesitated and did not hit accept right away is because I was banking on Darnold coming back. And when Darnold comes back, DJ Moore, I think will
be very
valuable. I actually brought that up.
He's good for DJ.
He's good for DJ Moore.
Yeah.
Yes,
he's good for DJ Moore.
But in the situation right now where you were wanting running back help, he was wanting receiver help. It did kind of
it worked out.
My wide receivers are at a point now where I can stash a guy.
Yeah.
You need somebody in your lineup.
Yeah, I need a lot of somebody.
Right.
That was a great start.
Right.
Yeah, it was a good move for both.
It was an easy win for you. I was taking a lot more risk in it.
Yeah.
But I was okay taking that risk.
You felt like you could take the risk because you had people that fit into that position.
And I still got running backs.
That's what I meant. Like, you could only play him in 3 possible places.
Yeah,
you had 3 guys you felt comfortable in those places already.
All right. Let's
finally get
everybody take a deep breath.
Yes.
Let's move forward.
I know.
There you go,
okay. It's okay.
Let's move on to our week 6. It's going to be like a 3-hour show.
A 3-hour show.
And the first matchup,
First matchup this week is
Jordon versus Broach.
number 1 versus number 6.
it's a good matchup.
Taking Jordon.
Number 6.
What's the live projection now is 121.56.
Well, he does have an open flex.
He does. We'll get to that.
Oh, okay.
Lamar's chubby sitting at 99.48.
Whoa.
Easy, bro. Easy.
You get
Yes.
Lamar's chubby where it is.
Yeah.
Well, that's on Lamar. He's in Baltimore. Actually, right now he's in New York. Jordan's already had one player go. McLaurin put up 6.7 in a wonderful dogfight.
We gotta start talking about what's
Nasty Thursday night game with a 12-7 win. You did bring up Broach has an empty flex. Anybody want to take a guess?
And a wide receiver 3.
Announcement, right? Didn't he have Taylor there?
Yeah, he might have.
Okay.
Taylor just about an hour and a half ago announced his out for
So
this week.
he's
I think we're gonna
out.
match up like 4.
Golly.
Do you throw Najee Harris in? I mean,
He has to. He has no one else.
Score a 0. Should.
Well, you got 4 people or 3 people on bye and 2 players out. And one person's already in the IR. I guess he could move someone else to the IR and then pick up somebody. But I think Najee's going in there. So really, Broach's would be around 110, correct?
Yeah.
110 to 124. Who's Najee playing this week?
Tampa Bay.
That's not a good matchup.
We didn't talk about it, but look at Najee's next couple weeks, too. Run defense he's playing.
Who's he got? He's got Tampa, Miami, Philly, New Orleans, Cincinnati.
Had a pretty easy schedule so far leading up, and then now he's got.
I mean, his redemption will be Atlanta and Carolina, I guess.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
So
If he's still playing.
Yeah.
Don't mean that in like a bad way, bro.
But I mean, at some point, Taylor's coming back, so you know.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
He'll end up being fine. This doesn't bode well for this week, I don't think. I do want you boys to do something. This is a question I got for you. I want each of y'all, I don't care who it is, at some point I need each of y'all to have your breakout player of the week.
For the matchup?
Your game-changing player
For
of the week.
each matchup?
No. You
Just
just have
all
one guy
all the
who will
week.
be your game-changing player of the week.
Man, I had Carson Wentz.
So you got Joe Burrow going against New Orleans. Obviously, Taysom Hill's going to be playing at tight end for New Orleans,
Yeah, of
or
course.
quarterback, or running back. He might be captain of the defensive linebacker.
We don't know what he's going to do.
If he's not eligible at tight end, do you play him?
No, not as a quarterback.
Not as a running back.
Let's play it. Do you play him?
I mean,
Because tight end's so bad. I don't want to get back to this, but I was just
We'll get
thinking
back to
about
him in a point. That's my
it.
fault. Lamar Jackson versus the Giants. Are the Giants going to be for real? And hope Lamar Jackson. I mean, we got to bring this up again.
Well, I mean,
The
Lamar
fantasy
struggled last
defense
couple
of
weeks.
Jordan.
Without Bateman, Lamar's not throwing it as much. He's not running.
Who does the fantasy defense of Jordan hit this week?
I'd say Allen Robinson.
That's a given. You got to go. get it.
Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb against New England. I think that's
Okay.
where it's going to get hit.
I also think it'll be Wilson against Atlanta. I think Wilson puts up less than 6 points.
See, I think Wilson goes above that, but I think Nick Chubb actually, the number 1 running back right now, is going to be below 16.
I was going to take Nick Chubb over 20.
All
Well,
right,
we're
let's-
going conflicting ideas here.
I mean, he's throwing all out there. We got to get his ball predictions anyway. I mean, Kelsey against Buffalo. Let's discuss because we're going to run into it a couple times this week, obviously, with Ryan. Buffalo and Kansas City.
What's up, Kansas City?
There's a lot of fantasy points to be had this week in that,
I think Buffalo carries a stronger defense than what Kansas City does.
obviously. Of course, Buffalo had an outstanding defense last year.
Yes.
And they still put up a ton in that playoff game.
Yes. But I really don't feel like Kelsey's one who I look at as a down week against a good defense. Like, I think he has
He's
such
matchup
big
proof.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. That's
Right
exactly the
out
way
of
I
my mouth.
There's no way
out of my
Lamar
mouth
Jackson.
in your mouth into his mouth.
Yeah, into his
We're
mouth.
just spit swapping.
My mouth in the gun, too.
JT to come back. I need a week off. I need JT to come back so I have a week off. Lamar Jackson's number 1 target is on the team that first playing this week.
Mike Andrews.
Be down there in that old flex position.
Which does help, I think, Jordan in this situation because what we talked about with
He don't need no help. He's already good.
well, if Lamar gets touchdowns, they're likely to go to Mark Andrews.
He's either running them in or it's going to Andrews.
Hey, Be easy on Duvernay real quick, all right?
All right, put some respect on my name.
Respect on
One
my
of us
name.
will be right.
One of us will be right.
You know, I'm still kind of surprised. Let me look at his bench. James Robinson is still in. Who does he have on his bench that could replace him?
Josh Jacobs on bye, so we were talking about that could have happened.
Yeah.
It's basically
He had Brandon Robertson, who is the lead back. And I think
they said
yeah.
he's the guy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's no
He-
way
and
about it.
I kind of
He's
like
a
how
guy.
old Ron Rivera has come out and he's been very blunt about his team. He's like, he ain't the guy, he is, and Carson Wentz sucks.
Well, you know,
Like-
when Ron's back,
But I don't
against the
think he
wall,
sucks.
He does come out swinging.
Yeah.
When he was at Carolina, when Cam was going through some shit, he came out, that's his guy,
Yeah.
and he backed him up. It's a quarterback. Ron's on the verge of losing his job. There's no other way around it. So,
Which I don't really know if I fault him as much as I do the GM in the situation.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think it's wrong.
Like, you ain't really giving
but
him a
you're gonna have
quarterback
good
worth
team
of
next
crap.
week because Sam Howell's probably going to be quarterback in that offense.
So it won't be Heineke?
it'll be Heineke before
That's what I was thinking. I didn't know who it was going to
Heineke
be.
was with him in Carolina,
Yeah.
so yeah, like I said, when we went
But
Heineke
I
played
think
last
if
year,
you're
he
giving
looked
up
like
on a
an
team,
MVP.
you better see what you got with a rookie. I always kind of look at it from that situation. Heineke is never going to be the starting franchise quarterback for
Sam
any
Howell
organization.
But
Sam Howell, you don't know unless you put him in.
Um,
How about
Waddle-
De'Ami Brown?
Waddle going to have a big week this week?
No, because
I think Skylar Thompson's
Yeah,
supposed
yeah.
to.
yeah.
neither
the fact
quarter-
that Skylar Thompson sounds like he could be a guy.
It sounds like Tua's back next week, but
Does Austin Eckler go for a trio of 30-point
I
games?
don't know. Denver's defense has looked pretty good this year.
It could be. It had to be through the air, I think. If he did get to 30, but I don't think so.
One of y'all had said earlier it's time to bench James Robinson.
That was me.
Do you do that against Indy?
Well, that's what we were just talking about.
You
I
guys
don't
have
know
another
if he has a
option.
choice. Because of bye weeks, I don't think he
The only other person
Because
he
of bye
has
weeks
that
in
he hasn't
Washington.
played is Josh Kelly.
Yeah.
Who's basically a handcuff in case something happens.
Right. That would mean he's starting both
Yes.
Chargers running backs.
Joe Burrow, over under 23.
Who are they playing?
New
New
Orleans.
Orleans? I'm going to say over.
Okay. New Orleans got a really good secondary.
Well,
Didn't
sometimes,
look too good
like,
in Seattle.
I was about to say, they just got
I don't think
torched.
they were expecting to see. I think
I
they
don't-
underestimated Seattle.
I think they did too, honestly.
I think they underestimated
I
Seattle.
mean, when you go against a juggernaut like Geno Smith,
So you're going with
we
the
keep
under?
making that joke. Yeah.
Mike, you going over or under?
You said for the 23?
Yeah.
I'm going to go under as well.
Jake over or under on Burrow?
He said over.
Said over.
He said over, and we've all said under, I think.
I mean,
It's 'cause it's
Burrow,
Jamar Chase
if you
back.
look
I
at
mean,
Burrow, he's had one great game. He put up 29 against the Jets. He's honestly, though, he hasn't had bad defensive matchups.
He's been consistent. He's been like, 18 to 25 pretty
Yeah.
much the most part?
So, I mean, he's not hurting them, but he's damn sure not helping.
I think Cam Jordan and that defensive line is going
Dude,
Cam
Cam
Jordan
Jordan.
They're
is so
going, yeah.
good.
They're going to put some pressure on him. They're going to put some pressure on him.
I think they said he's got the most multi-sack games since he came to the league or
He's
something
a
like that.
beast.
He's just so good.
I hate watching when we're playing against him.
All right, Mike, who you taking in this matchup?
I am going with Jordan. Every time I bet against him, he wins. So I'm a bet.
I see what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm not going to put it out there.
Brian, who you
You guys know
I'm
what
taking,
I'm
I said it. I'm going to start taking Jordan before the matchup happens.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter how we break it down.
I mean, right now,
Jordan's got some kind of voodoo.
listen, you're still the king, but there's a man coming for your throne.
If you come to the king, you best not miss. Lard.
Oh, Trophy's ready. I'm picking up this week.
I was about to say I can't be a king without the crown.
I got the crown.
Oh.
It's a bigger crown now, too.
It is?
Yeah, you got new bases. Bases deeper. Jake, who you taking this matchup?
I'm going to take Jordan.
All right. I'm going to take Jordan as well.
It's the first time I think we've ever had a sweep for Jordan.
Wait a minute, we'll see what,
JT picked Jordan.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll have to go back and look
Yeah.
for it.
I already wrote it down.
What's our next matchup?
Next one we got is Tyler versus Scorp.
Live projection for this matchup, 118.81.
This is an interesting matchup.
115.01 for Scorp. Scorp's had one guy go. Chicago.
The trade that didn't happen.
Oh, I'd love for Pacheco to get stuck in that lineup.
That would be funny.
10 points Thursday night. There's a couple keys going on in this. T. Higgins. What's going on with him?
I think he sits. I think he's going to have Deontay
He's got an
Johnson.
ankle injury.
Same one he sat out most of the game last week.
He practiced Friday, didn't do anything Wednesday and Thursday, limited session. It's looking like a day-to-day. Yeah.
As much as I hate to say it, 'cause we've been bashing this offense the entire time.
Yeah.
I'd almost start Deontay Johnson either way over T. Higgins. Because what happened last week where you started T. Higgins when he was questionable with the same injury, he played like 3 or 4 plays, it felt like, and they sat him for the rest of the game. What if that happens to you again? Fool me once, whatever that's like.
A name that's
Well, do you
sticking out
put
with me-
Thielen up there for him and even look at a different flex option there?
The only other option is what, Mike Boone?
Mike Boone.
or
I do like Rashad
Listen,
White.
I put White in against Ben. What's White done?
You had
12 against Kansas City, 5 against Atlanta.
Yep.
That's pretty much it. He had 3 against Dallas, but I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough.
And
I mean,
point
if
one
Higgins
against-
is playing, it's hard to take him out. But I was just thinking, would you think that not really the floor with Johnson because it's still a Pittsburgh offense, but he does get a lot of targets.
See, I probably would have put in Herbert, which would have pissed me off.
You'd have put in Herbert, but besides that one long run he had, he didn't do anything.
No, he didn't do anything. The name that's sticking out to me that I keep looking at just stands out is Isaiah McKenzie.
Tell me why, Brian.
I just feel like he's going to be really involved in this matchup.
You think so?
I really do. I think Isaiah McKenzie goes for 15 points this week.
Okay. Isaiah McKenzie didn't play last week, and Jameson Crowder had gotten hurt the week before, so he's going to get all those slot snaps now.
Yeah.
Even though
Jameson Crowder can't
Shakir
stay
or
on the
whatever his
freaking
name
field.
No, he can't.
I still think he's a
gonna
great
be,
slot
I'm not-
receiver,
He's going to
but
be the guy I'm going to say is going to be my game changer this week.
He's up there.
Isaiah McKenzie is my game changer this week.
Game changer.
Justin
Busting
Jefferson.
that load early, ain't you, big guy?
You know what I mean? I wish.
15 plus.
I wish Justin Jefferson had a healthy Miami offense to go against because I think he could go there. Just constant shootouts. I think Minnesota's probably going to win that game pretty easy.
At least Miami can run the ball still.
They can.
Well, here's something else. It's still the NFL. So if you're the 4th-string quarterback, you're still good enough to be in the NFL.
Yeah.
It's not like you're recruiting one of us to go out there and even then, I think I could get the ball to Tyreek and Waddle like on screens, and they can make a play happen.
This is also the second straight matchup that's got a Jacksonville running back playing. Would you sit one of those guys, or do you start them both?
I think they're just like, man, Indy's bad.
They are. But do you
I think they think if Jacksonville can get out to a lead, it could turn into a running game for them to try to get it reestablished. With the bad play coming from James Robinson right now, I think Tyler's looking at it from a standpoint of this is ETN's chance to grab a hold of RB1.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that. Like, if I had a young running back who hadn't got, like, the full opportunity yet, the guy ahead of him started hot, but now is cooling off.
Yeah.
Like, it's that boom bust that we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
So this could be where you were talking about, like, the game changer.
Yeah.
Is that what?
Yeah, like Justin Jefferson's not a game changer.
No.
You know, get what you expect out of him. He's going to blow.
He is who we thought he was.
Yeah.
Olsenbaum?
Okay.
It's only his first.
What's the score? No, another home run.
4-2.
Oh, good. Us?
What
No.
you what?
No.
Yeah, we're down.
Really?
Yes.
Damn. All right. I wish I didn't ask that question. CeeDee Lamb, he's also got a questionable tag. What's going on there?
He's
Groin,
fine.
I think. Or,
It's the same thing he's been dealing with for a
Okay,
couple
so
of
it's
years.
just-
He's playing.
All right. That's
I wanna
where
get
that's the
something
problem.
different.
Now, who's the quarterback?
It was
this
growing
week?
last week. It's hit this week, so it's the opposite.
Have y'all
side.
heard anything on Dak?
Not this week. I think they said they're targeting.
So everything's week 7 for the returns for everyone that's
Yeah.
injured. All right, so everybody, all these quarterbacks that are hurt coming back week 7.
And then we got that other questionable tag for Higbee.
Higbee
Higbee
ain't
he's
coming.
also dealing with an ankle.
Yeah. Higbee's been one of the more reliable fantasy options this year at tight end. He doesn't have the high ceiling, but he also
It's a low floor. It's about 6 catches for like 50 yards.
yeah, I mean, but 6, 10, 8, 12, 8, like
That's top
Without
5
the
tight end,
position, man,
basically.
you'll take it.
Exactly. He
Uh,
just scores occasionally.
I've been seeing a lot of things calling for George Kittle to have a big week this week.
What-
You think that happens?
It should, but I don't think so.
I don't know.
Who was it? Who did you trade Kittle for?
I traded Kittle and Patterson for Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Drake London. So nobody in that trade has been good since that trade happened. Besides Clyde had a good week 2 weeks ago. And Bell had a good week.
I like London for the rest of the year.
I do too. That's
I like
fine.
London for the
Hate
rest of the
London. Stupid Brits.
Jolly
Yes, indeed.
Old.
All right, boys. It's a close matchup.
close matchup it is.
Let's get some picks going on.
Chris Godwin's going to score 20 fantasy points this week.
Oh, is that your game changer?
No. So that's just light work, Chris Godwin. I don't think he scored more than 9.
Are you going to take Tyler in that matchup?
Yes, I am.
If you're taking Godwin for 20, yeah.
Jake, who you got?
I'm also going to take Tyler.
You going to take Tyler in that matchup? Mike?
I got Tyler as well.
Here,
I think Kansas City Buffalo is going to be a shootout. I think Pat Mahomes is going to put up a shit ton of points.
Yep.
before we move on,
We're not talking about shootouts in that game, right?
We are talking about shootouts in that game, right?
before you make your pick, I do want to bring up one interesting play here. Daryl Henderson without Cam Akers because he's dealing with personal issues. Basically, they said he's off the team.
He's Calvin Ridley. He's going to throw a bet on the next game.
Yeah, he gets beat up Carolina defense.
Yeah, beat up Carolina defense, who is historically bad against the run.
Yeah.
So I think Daryl Henderson goes for 20 plus.
With all that said, I'm going to take Scorp this week.
Okay. Changed his mind.
AT
went with Tyler. So 4 for Tyler and Bryan for Scorp.
What's your next matchup?
Next matchup, 2 fellers at the table. We got Bryan versus Mikkel.
Ooh. Want to talk some shit?
You said 20 plus.
Definitely not that many.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
The BN movement.
Well, go to the freaking bathroom. Don't do it in the chair.
Let your lineup up.
Nope. Messing with you.
If you wouldn't have brought it up, he might have forgotten.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody screenshot it when he had it up?
I told him to screenshot it and send it to him, but he didn't.
Oh, I forgot. Well, because I gave Jake the number.
He did give me the number.
What's the number?
What's the number?
107.
All right. So
You think? Oh.
a projection will be 117 for victim of the system, league versus me. We're both going against the grain here, you know. We're going against the establishment.
Yeah.
What was it? 107 for league versus me.
Yeah, there it is.
Sure, you don't have that. If you look at it, this empty fella is doing more positions than Taysom Hill. See what I did there?
I did.
See what anybody's line up.
How's it feel? How's your back feel carrying this podcast? Does it hurt?
Jake's carried the podcast.
Put the team on his back.
I have.
Greg Jennings.
That ain't Greg Jennings. That's Paul Schaefer.
So with Mostert.
So Mostert though.
He's gonna play. He's
got to.
Yeah.
That's their offense right now.
Yeah.
That's their offense.
He didn't practice on Wednesday, but he practiced limited on Thursday and Friday. It says they're seemingly managing his reps, given his history of knee issues. Has he really had issues in the past? Somebody really
he's got a clear protocol
for him to play like 4 carries.
Olave practiced in full. It's
clear the protocol.
It's the league. You know,
Yeah.
even if he
Versus
clears,
me.
is the league going to say, "Look,
No.
we just don't want you playing"?
We don't.
Because what really screwed up the whole Tua thing, what made it worse,
Is it
was them showing that picture.
The game time
where he threw it up for Coolio.
He did.
That whole
Who is
thing.
now currently in Gangsta's Paradise. So there's that.
It's a great song,
there's
man.
a forever injury tag
Yes.
with Coolio.
It's on permanent dollar, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I don't know, man, and
I don't know.
I have to throw DJ Moore in if Olave doesn't play.
Now, is DJ Moore a better play against the Rams or Michael
Gallup
Gallup
against
against
Philly, I don't know.
Because both of them have stud number 1.
This is why I hate having Panthers on my team, because I put that loyalty involved in it.
Do you know the one thing I will say about DJ Moore? He was far more productive with PJ and Sam Darnold and Cam Newton and whoever else we've had in
That is
literally
really good
the only
Anybody
quarterback
but
he's
Baker.
not done good with is Baker. And Baker's been
QBs.
he was poor.
This year, Baker. Last year,
Darnold,
Darnold and
PJ,
and Cam.
So that's 4.
The year before that,
Teddy
was
Bridgewater.
Heineke, Kyle Allen.
Yeah, Kyle
Kyle
Allen.
Allen, yeah.
I don't watch
He's
Panthers
like
games.
7
That's just crazy.
QBs.
Yeah.
And still put up the numbers.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
He's
Is
been a 1,000-yard receiver every year, is he not?
Him and Terry McLaurin.
Yeah.
Like, listen here, fellas.
the only thing that might hurt DJ Moore in this situation
The
is
Panthers.
Ramsey.
Ramsey,
yeah.
I was going to say Jalen Ramsey's probably going to.
Ramsey hasn't been traveling though.
He's been more
staying on
stationary.
one side, so.
I'm hoping Metcalf keeps doing Metcalf things now.
Now he'll probably get Byron Murphy on him, which Arizona's secondary has been terrible. Byron Murphy's been blocking
Yeah, that's
Like he locked down Cooper Kupp last week or 2 weeks ago.
And that's
I mean, it
why
was still-
Tyler Lockett's in the starting
It was
lineup.
still Cooper Kupp. But it was,
speaking of that, Tyler like 20 plus points.
We're not to him yet.
Well, it's just because we're talking about
He
Metcalf.
went for a handshake and you denied it.
I don't know.
You don't take that.
There we go. Hey,
Big game for Fournette this week, I will say that.
who's he playing?
Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah, big game. He might not play in the
all
second
right,
half.
you know how JT did that whole this person 2 touchdowns, this person 2 touchdowns?
Yeah.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, 7 bold predictions so far.
I like
That
that
involved no
numbers.
touchdowns?
Fournette
Four
for 2
of them
touchdowns.
are over 20 fantasy points. So we're basically just saying all over 20 fantasy.
Fournette for 2 touchdowns.
Speaking of,
This is one of the few weeks I do not want to start Buffalo's defense. I'll say that.
Bold prediction.
low-scoring game.
Gabe Davis has more receptions than he had last week, but less yards.
It's not bold.
Bring
Bound to happen.
that up. Let's talk about the last time Gabe Davis saw Kansas City.
I
5
saw
touchdowns.
Kansas City. Yeah, it was like 4, I think.
I think it was 4, yeah.
4 touchdowns.
Yeah, that was the playoff.
Is there a chance he replicates that?
No.
Does he get close to it?
No.
Does he have multiple touchdowns?
No.
All right. Well, you just shot my.
I don't know,
down on
man.
that. Discuss something else. You got to go.
I think it's interesting. I do think
it is
it's
as well.
so. The one that I'm also looking at is the Sutton play. I mean, man, you listen to everything saying Russell Wilson's go-to guy was Cortland Sutton. They looked like they were linked in. They were having a great preseason and training camp and everything else. But you've suffered because Russell sucks.
Yeah, he's
not throwing the ball like.
But he's also
Especially-
hyper targeting something.
Yeah,
a lot of times
also-
to his detriment. Like there were times, like last play when he threw the pick in the end zone on Thursday night, KJ Hamler was wide open, but he force feeds Sutton.
Yeah.
So
So
it's ruining his back.
From a standpoint of like, you can't take them out because A, you were saying like you don't have a ton of receivers that you really trust to go in there, and B, he gets the looks. Like if Russell is going to go off, it's going to go to Cortland Sutton.
We've been picking on Indy all day.
Yes.
How do you think Trevor does against Indy this week? Does he throw for 300, 4 touchdowns?
no, I say 250 and 2.
215, 2?
Yes.
That's a good week. That's a
That's
good week.
15-2. That's what 22 fantasy points.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
That's
going
right.
to
That's
throw a
a little bit
lot
of
to Christian
projection,
Kirk this week. I get
I was
it.
going to say I'll throw. He can throw a pick in there. I think he'd be right around 20.
Right around 20.
You got any predictions on Kamara against Cincinnati?
No, the only prediction I'd have for my team would be Ramondre Stevenson. I think he's going to go for 20.
Ramondre Stevenson for
Dang, it's
20.
the 20 thing again.
And that, man,
Bryan,
that's
I see you
I
writing
think
down
that's
the
a
prediction
fun
for yourself.
matchup to look at because we were just talking about how like much I believe in Stevenson, but Cleveland's got a good run defense. That D line's pretty good.
Do they?
But Eckler, I was going to say Eckler just went for
Eckler
30.
didn't he?
Eckler went for
Eckler
like
weren't there
130.
two-
Yeah, he went for his
but
career
didn't-
high.
But
Mike
didn't both
Stevenson.
DNs not play in that game?
No, both played in that game.
Right.
I think Clowney might be out. Yes, sir.
Mike Stevenson for 20.
Okay.
That's going to keep the 20 trend.
Yeah, I think they got a good defense on paper. It's kind of like the Commanders / football team was last year. We're like, oh man, they got Chase Young and Jonathan Allen and all these first rounders, Deron Payne on their defensive line. But their defense was terrible even before Chase Young went down. I think Cleveland's got the same thing.
So you think you're with Michael? You think he's going?
I don't know
20?
if it's going to go 20 plus because that's a lot. But I think he's going to have a good game.
Do you think he meets the 14.3?
Yeah, dude. It all depends on touchdowns. I think he's got a chance to have a lot of yards, which I think Clowney might be out this week. But
What a clown.
Clowney and Garrett both did play last week. But it
All
didn't
right.
help them. I wrote down for my bold prediction when y'all were talking, I think Jacoby Myers scores in back-to-back weeks.
That's
Which-
definitely bold.
It doesn't
That is
sound that
bold.
bold for just a guy scored a touchdown, but he basically didn't score all year last year for the
It is
most
very
part.
bold.
So I'm going to go
I think
with
Kamara
that.
has
He
it.
ruined a lot of bold predictions last year.
I think your running backs are really going
Pitts were the
to
ones
help
that
you.
came
Stevenson's, if we're saying 20, I think Kamara's going to have a big week. And then
Does Deion Jackson go in?
That's why I was looking at the flex, but then I'd have to. I really like George Pickens this week.
just because you think they'll be playing from behind
Yeah.
and he's going to get opportunity.
And anytime with Pickett and Pickens being on the second
Pickens.
string together, love that. Being second string together when he comes in the game, that's what he's looking to.
Yeah, that's a tough flex play option you got going there
Yeah, I don't know if I trust Deion Jackson. I just picked him up just.
because he's going to get opportunity.
Because he's going to be at least get opportunities.
Yeah.
All right, boys, let's do some picks.
Pick it.
Jake, who you taking? Ryan, who you taking?
Wow. I'm taking Bryan. JT took Bryan as well.
Jake?
Yeah, I like that Benjamin start too. Yeah, I'm going to take – sorry. I'm taking Bryan.
Don't apologize. I'm taking Bryan.
I'm taking Mike.
Great man.
Nah, boy.
All right.
I like your 2 running backs this week, though, Mike. I think they can go for a combined – well, I should just say 40.
70 points.
I'm going to go 40 just because that's the trend right now. That's a lot of points.
All right, so Jake's saying
Michael's 2
Michael's running backs, 20
you
fantasy
just
points
gotta
each,
put,
basically.
No, you just got to put it as I stated. Michael, I have 2 running backs will go for 40 points. I didn't say if you put one in the flex, that all of a sudden changes it because I could add that into
You're
the
taking the boldness out of this, right? You're taking a good, strong Colombian coffee and you're just throwing milk in it.
No, you throw water in it.
Yeah, I'm stopping. I'm not going to.
I don't know. I think you should.
I don't know if y'all paid attention. I'm clicking. My knees over here just going.
Bro, I don't know if you noticed, but if you ever listen to any of our shows, anytime you have a pin, you click it the entire podcast.
Yeah, the entire time.
And last week, your knee was hitting the bottom of the table and it kept going.
That wasn't
I'm hoping
me.
I got excited.
I don't know which of your 3 legs it was, but it was one of them.
These are smoothies, man. Get to power.
Duty.
All
Moving on.
right, what's your next matchup?
Next matchup is Jake versus Andrew.
Sweet sandwiches versus Smith Schuster and the Juju's.
Close matchup.
Good man.
It is a close match. There's a lot of close matchups this
Yeah,
week.
there's a lot of close matchups.
Original projection and live projection. 116.9 for Smith Schuster and the Juju's. 118.35 for Turd
What a
Sandwiches.
heck of a matchup here, guys.
This is a very, very close matchup.
Close matchup here, guys.
McCaffrey versus the Rams. That comes
That's
down to
somewhere
really
around.
one guy. That Donald fella.
Yeah.
And he's a pretty good
Aaron
guy.
Donald.
He's the best player to ever come out of Pittsburgh.
Larry Fitz.
He's better than Fitz. Yeah. You never will sit here and
LaShawn
say
McCoy.
Fitz is a top 5 wide receiver all time.
Dan
Didn't
Marino.
Darrell Revis go to Pitt?
How many Super Bowls Dan got?
All right.
Didn't Darrell Revis go to Pitt?
Laces out, please.
Did Reeves go to Pitt?
I think he did.
I thought you did.
I don't know.
If he did, that's close.
Yeah, Reeves Allen.
Aaron Donald might be the best defensive player I've seen.
Outside of Julius
Like,
Peppers.
as an adult.
Ever?
As an adult, like since we've been
as
adults, like watching
Ray
football.
Lewis, you were an adult.
Yeah, because I think Donald might be better than Ray Lewis. I think
How many people has Donald killed?
we don't know because he's good at it. He hides it. He practices with swords.
Touche.
I don't believe Ray
It
Lewis
might have
was
been
found
two shades. It could have
guilty.
been 3 shades. We don't know.
I believe Ray Lewis was found guilty.
He murdered him. Never mind.
Okay.
Anyway,
I like Andrew's
Dear
matchups at receivers, and I don't like him at running back.
You like
running back was Dobbins versus the Giants, McCaffrey versus the Rams. Yeah, I agree with you there. Taysom Hill against Cincinnati. That's a hell of a running back, though.
Tight end.
Yeah, Deebo Samuel, oddly, was his lowest scoring receiver last week. Only had 10 points.
Yeah, I think he's got some really good matchups from a receiver standpoint.
Yeah,
I think
Seattle.
that's where he can have a lot of success.
Smith versus Dallas. Smith, man, we'll talk about a roller coaster.
Is he would you put him in as an every week starter, just pencil him in?
I would put him in as an every other week starter. 0 week
But
1,
you don't know
11
which
week
one.
2, 26 week 3, 3 week 4, 13 week 5.
So this week he should be back down.
It should be single digits.
And then next week's a bye.
But
It'll be
it's a
0.
bye. So maybe he has to
He
double up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He's obviously going to be in his lineup week 8. But you don't think McCaffrey can reach that 16?
I don't know. I'm not very good at this.
Can I put Taysom Hill as my? We need to get game changers, by the way. 'Cause Bryan's the only one's got one. We got this matchup and one more left.
Oh,
Can I put Taysom Hill as my game changer in a bad way?
Yeah. Game changers neither good nor bad.
But
You
does,
can
he,
have a
but does he
change
change the game if he doesn't get on the field real much?
I believe so because his fantasy points are down. You're talking about a guy who's put up 30
Oh, so we're
points.
talking about game changers in the fantasy matchup, not in like the NFL game.
Right, in your fantasy
Okay.
week.
Okay. I'm just asking.
If it's
It's
going
a
to
good
be,
thing,
if
I'm
it's,
just
I
asking.
know if it's going to be in a negative manner, you would want like a Justin Jefferson that put up 10.
Oh,
You know?
okay. So
So-
Taysom Hill's kind of tough because his projections are pretty low.
Right.
Okay.
But, I mean, he could be a game changer because, as we said.
Christian Kirk's my game changer, by the way.
There you go.
I think he's going to go for 15 fantasy points. No, we got to stop doing just fantasy points. I'm going to do 95 yards and 7 catches. Because every time I do a touchdown, they get the yards, they don't get the touchdown.
Just keep talking.
Dobbins with 10 points against the Giants. Dobbins, when he played against Buffalo, just came out hot. I think if they go with that mindset,
How many
Dobbins
catches?
had a
Seven?
big week.
You say 7?
How good have the Giants
Yeah,
seven? How good has the Giants defense been this year?
Pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's.
it's been good.
I actually feel like it's more of a week for them to try to attack through the air.
You would think.
Well, I'm hoping because I got Duvernay on
But
the
you're
other side.
talking about a team that notoriously runs the ball, whether it's quarterback.
agree.
or
Yeah.
Glorious.
I think they're more dangerous in pass drops because I feel like they open up more of a field for him, not only to make good throws, but for him to use his legs in that situation.
Yeah.
Where if it's design runs, it doesn't really spread the defense out. Like it's very condensed at the line of scrimmage.
I think Ronnie Stanley's out again, though, their left tackle, who they basically went all year last year without having, I think, even.
He came back for like a series.
They
against
had him like
Cincy.
where they were swapping them series for series. I think he's back out again.
Does that Brady fella destroy? Does he demolish Pitt in the first
I don't
half?
know, man. I think he can. I think he'd go for 4 touchdowns in the first half.
Mhm.
But I mean, Brady, other than the Kansas City game, and that was mainly just like,
That was garbage time.
yeah, he's not really been that good this year.
I think he might be like top 3 in passing yards in the season, but it's not. He hasn't had touchdowns.
Yeah, that's what he needs.
Okay,
You need the touchdown.
you've got Brady, and you're playing Andrews. I thought this was interesting. On the Dan Levitard show this week, they said just in his 40s, Tom Brady would be the all-time leading passer in Chicago Bears history.
Just in his 40s.
Just in his 40s.
I can see that. I can see that.
That's rough for the Bears.
That is right.
It's good for the Brady, bad for the Bears.
See, I like the Tyler Lockett matchup because of what y'all brought up a while ago. I think Arizona is very vulnerable defensively. They have one shining light. I think
JJ Watt.
Lockett could get a lot. Yeah, I think Lockett could get a lot of opportunity in it.
We do always throw something out crazy for Andrews matchups. He's got 2 wide receivers and Aaron Rodgers from Green Bay.
Talking about Lazard and Dobbs going in together.
Mm-hmm. This goes back to Jordan. You're going against the Jets. Do you think he should throw in Rodgers
No,
and those
because
receivers?
Kyler Murray's playing Seattle. He might
Yeah.
be like a second or third worst defense.
Yeah, I think the Brown Murray double up is going
Brown
to be
Murray
high.
double up solid.
I'm just, just throwing things out
Yeah, I mean,
there.
just that's one of those things where you go back to Devontae Smith. You slide Dobbs in, or Dobbs, whatever his name is, for Devontae Smith. I don't know. That's a tough one.
Yeah, Romeo fell. What about Smith-Schuster?
No.
No, don't know, man.
Give
No.
Buffalo.
No, I don't
Leave
trust
him
him.
on your bench until all the other wide receivers get hurt, or if he just shows that he's got any kind of explosive.
I don't think I'd change my starting lineup if I was Andrew.
You think
No.
he's good to go?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think his lineup is.
I just think, personally, I think Taysom Hill just doesn't need to be in his lineup at all. I think Taysom Hill's overrated.
I've already kind of already said it, but I can't say it because
Andrew, play Taysom.
Yes, play Taysom.
Nah, I wouldn't play him. I wouldn't do it.
He doesn't have another option.
he can find one.
He dropped.
He's going to get a 0 either way.
At least play the guy that can
Nah.
make
Taysom Hill, he should never.
Does Yahoo take away position eligibility in the middle of the season, or do they wait?
I don't think
Because I know in fantasy baseball they'll add position flexibility if you get a certain amount of
It's got to be
starts.
like 4
Yeah,
weeks.
so I say I think you get a certain amount of starts at a position. I think it's 10 starts at a position. They'll add that position flexibility.
I don't think
I don't
they
think
take
they
it
take
away.
it away.
Though. Yeah, because I don't think they take it
Because I
away.
remember Cordero Patterson last year had both, right? Did he
Yeah.
run back and wide receiver? And because he didn't start any games at wide receiver, they took wide receiver away.
No. This year, yes.
Yeah, so I'm saying. So I think next year,
Yeah.
Taysom Hill will only be running back
Quarterback.
or quarterback. I don't know. I don't think he started any games. I'm wondering if they would take away tight end flexibility or tight end position eligibility this year because he's not actually playing any snaps.
I'm just hoping Kyler Murray throws a bunch of touchdowns to Zach Ertz.
I was wondering, I haven't looked at
How much
Kyler
you
Murray.
throw a bunch of yards?
How
and
much
not
has
touchdowns?
Kyler ran the ball?
Not much.
No, I think that's the best thing they've done, though.
Is keep him.
Yes. Because every
apparently-
year Kyler Murray is MVP talk, and then he takes an unnecessary hit,
Right. His
and then
fantasy
he
numbers
sucks.
at the beginning of the season have been so high because for some reason, he's a red zone rushing threat.
Yeah.
But yeah, he takes that shoulder hit in like week 7, and he's not the same the rest of the year.
Other than the Rams game, I mean, he's put up pretty good fantasy
most
points.
he ran was against Carolina. He ran 12 times for 26 yards.
That's more so pass
Just
rush getting
scrambling.
to him when
Yeah,
he's
just
scrambling.
scramble.
That's not design.
5 rushes first 2 weeks combined. Boy, he had 5 rushes week 1, 5 rushes week 2, 29, 28 yards. It's kind of like he's got a cap on him. He knows where the yardage is. 4 for 42 last week.
I think Hollywood scores a 40-plus yard touchdown this week.
Ooh, I like it.
I don't think he's been used more as a possession receiver this year. He's not doing the down the field stuff that him and Kyler used to do with the old Oklahoma.
All right,
Was
boys.
just remembering Oklahoma having Kyler Murray and Hollywood Brown and Joe Mixon and Mark Andrews on the same team. Pretty solid team. It was a good team. It was a good team. That was JT's college football talk.
That was JT's let's do some picks. Mike, who you got in this matchup?
I have. Oh, I got Jake.
You gonna take Jake?
Yep.
I'm gonna go Jake as well. Ryan, who are you taking?
I'm going to take Mandrew.
I'm gonna take Andrew. Jake, who you going with?
Andrew.
And JT picked
Jake.
JT took Jake. All right, what's our next matchup?
Who'd you take, Ron?
I took Jake.
Okay. Next matchup of the week. The mock dub is Ryan versus the missing man, Josh Without struggling.
Is this a 1-3 matchup?
It is a 1-3 matchup. Or 2-3.
2-3.
And forget about your favorite team.
Yeah, I know. She's excited for matchup of the week.
I'm sorry.
She was underneath my chair, so when she was barking, I felt like I was. What are the 4D figures? You know what they spit on me with honey? Yeah, remember that? That's what it felt like. It was rumbling underneath the seat.
Stumbling.
I'm not talking about 2 anymore. Well, we are talking about 2.
This is matchup of the week. What do we do with matchup of the week, Mr. Ruth?
Position by position breakdown.
There we go. Live projection 127.4 for cult personality. Fantasy phenoms at 129.64.
Josh Allen.
Yes. What are we talking about? I don't know what the
Quarterback.
question is, but yes.
Josh Allen.
Yes.
You want me to go any more?
Jalen
Josh
Hurts.
Allen.
Say Allen,
Jalen
Tom,
Hurts.
Josh.
All right.
Okay.
Jalen Hurts in a close matchup.
Nope.
Jalen Hurts outscores.
Oh, I like it.
Close matchup, Jalen Hurts.
I think Dallas' defense is number 1 defense in football right now. I think I saw that earlier.
See,
As
how
far
many
as
shits
what? As far as
I give.
points or
None.
yards?
None.
Look at that face.
It can't be yards,
No,
but points or fantasy defense.
I need to fact check myself now that I've said
I
it.
ain't mad at you. That was my best start in daily fantasy last week. Was definitely the Dallas defense.
Yeah, I played Dallas and the Patriots,
That'll do it.
but I had St. Brown.
Yeah, that'll also do
Yeah.
it.
And Jared Goff.
They're number 3. Number 1, San Francisco. 2 is Bills, and 3 is Dallas. Sorry.
Who are you taking in this matchup?
What's that?
They're third.
In his fantasy defense?
I'm gonna go Josh Allen.
Or
Just said
Well,
number
I think
one
it is gonna be
defense,
close.
number 1
I think
defense
it's gonna be
according to.
I know the projection was good, but I think it's
I was a Jalen Hurts denier to start the season, and I wouldn't say I'm on the
But then
bandwagon.
you saw his face, and now you're a believer? Not a trace down your mind? Are you in
punch
love?
you so bad. Who are you taking?
Josh Allen.
J.A.?
I think it's a shootout in that game. I know I'm cursing the game
I was
already.
about to say, I'm
I
gonna go
first
best of
again.
Wagner now.
Yeah, I know.
Yep,
He likes it.
I'm betting on it.
I'm
betting
Okay, let's do the wide receiver matchup. It's a good wide receiver matchup.
It's a good matchup all the way around.
Your difference maker, basically your wide receiver threes in this.
I got my game changer,
Who's your game changer?
Stephon Diggs.
What's he got?
He's
Talk to me.
going 135 yards and 2 touchdowns.
All right, so about average week for Stephon Diggs.
That sounds like an average league for
Then
You said
give me 3
No,
touchdowns.
dude, that's fine. I was just
No, I'm
joking.
giving you 3.
You said
God,
135?
3 touchdowns.
All right, you made the change. I'm still writing down 2.
I'm gonna
Put
take
3 in parentheses just in case he
Yeah,
scores 3.
and just in case, but
I'm
hey,
still right.
I'm gonna take JT's wide receivers.
we'd be right either way because it's 2 or up.
Cooper
The only
Kupp.
time we give it exact numbers is when JT said an exact number, where he said the exact number for Justin Jefferson. So
Cooper
if you said
Kupp
2,
going
it's
against
where
the
you're-
beat up Carolina defense. I think Cooper Kupp rakes, and I think Amari Cooper
Now,
has
what's his
a
cue?
terrible week.
What's his cue for? Foot.
Good. Is he playing?
Sean McVay expects him to play.
See, I disagree. I think Amari Cooper actually is the one that's left open because he'll try to take away Nick Chubb. I think the
We all think.
game changer.
Cooper was a nice idea.
The game changer for me is actually going to be in the running back matchup, which I'll talk about a little
Running
bit more.
back.
All right, so Ryan, who are you taking in your wide receiver matchup?
All three collectively?
Yeah.
I'm going to take mine.
Yep.
Just because I'm not sure about Tyler Boyd, but he had to make that pivot because Michael Thomas got announced to being out today.
Right.
If T. Higgins doesn't play, though, that
That-
Tyler
that-
Boyd
that
becomes
jumps up,
a better play.
Yeah.
A better play.
But Tyreek was in a walking boot after the game on Sunday, and he's got Skylar,
Yeah.
which sounds like a 14-year-old girl's name.
Who might have judged?
I'm going to take Ryan.
Who you taking, Jake?
I'm going to take Ryan.
You want to take Ryan this man?
Just because of what he was saying. I don't know if Tyler Boyd – I mean, he's always kind of like – he gets a crossing route in the middle and can –
But Cooper is
Yeah.
in my lineup this week, and he has done poorly every time I put him in, and every time I take him out, he goes for like 15 or
This is
20.
what I would tell you. Play Mark Cooper this week. He scored 20, 19, and 17 at home, 3 and 1 on the road.
And I
Play
started
him
on
this
both
week.
games on the
Yeah.
road.
That's
This
good
is
stuff
right
right there.
That's what the hell we messed up. That's what we That's the pepper we need in this thing right here. All 4 people are going to listen to this podcast, not including anybody at this table. Really going to appreciate that.
Somebody out there is going to listen.
The
And
only
someone
one I
will find
can-
this and be like, you know what, I'm going to play Mark Cooper this
The only person I can guarantee you listens to this podcast is Jordan, because every week he changes his name to something that we discussed.
It's Jordan
And it's got to be Andrew, right? 'Cause you said
and
you
Andrew because
about
he changed
Chase
his
Smith.
mind.
Oh, that's Andrew only listens to his thing.
Jordan timestamped us last year. Literally put the timestamp when we said something about him. So he's
Oh,
he's keeping
listening.
receipts.
Yeah,
he's
he's
keeping
listening.
receipts. All right, running backs.
Running back matchup.
Jake, you said you had something to say about running backs. What you got, big dog?
The thing that I wanted to talk about in the running back matchup is going to actually be in the flex. So I'm
Okay, never mind.
pause.
All righty. Montgomery's already gone.
Sorry, buddy. I was trying to set you up.
Montgomery's already gone for 8.5. Let's just say just Kenneth Walker top that.
That's my game changer, Kenneth Walker. I'm changing it up. Kenneth Walker is the third, taking the
He's the
replace-
third because his father and grandfather were both there.
And that's a game changer.
That's the game changer in itself.
They
It's
did it
because
once and they said, "Can you do it?"
Hey,
again?"
man,
They did.
Rashad Penny was having a lot of success in that with Kenneth Walker still getting some opportunities. Without Rashad Penny in there, that offense is still going to need someone to be explosive within the running game. He's actually a pretty good receiving back. I think he goes for about 18 fantasy points or north of that. Wow, that's a lot.
That's a bold prediction.
Yeah, I did. Well,
Yeah, just go 20 so I can write it down one time and put everybody's name.
Everybody
put 20 in parentheses. But yeah, that's my game changer this week.
Now, I said it earlier,
You all right? Get choked up? Think about Kenneth Walker?
talking about that
I know.
Breece Hall was the most talented rookie running back coming out, and it wasn't even close. Kenneth Walker was number 2, I think.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
but
he-
Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, but they don't throw the ball to running backs at Michigan State much.
Nope.
But he had a game when we were here recording the podcast last year where he scored like 4 times and had 200-some yards. But he can catch passes. Le'Veon Bell went to that same school, running that same offense, and did catch passes. He comes to the league. He's one of the best receiving backs.
Yes.
I think Kenneth Walker could be a 3-down workhorse back.
Yes.
They lost Rashad Penny. Travis Homer's out. They got DJ Dallas, but it's DJ Dallas. So, I mean,
Ew.
I think Kenneth Walker could be a stud.
I agree.
Yes.
I'm going. Man, that's Saquon though. But that's Saquon though.
Is it bold for me to say that Joe Mixon scores a touchdown this week?
Yes.
I'm going to say Joe Mixon outscores.
Talk to me.
Saquon
Talk.
Barkley.
Speaking on his
Really?
name. Thank
Bye.
you, Trig.
How many points?
Double
Come on.
digits.
Come on.
Double digits.
Outscores him by
By
double digits? How many is that? At least 10?
Okay.
Outscores Mixon by
I'm
double
taking
digits.
Ryan's running back. Yes. Yes.
Jake.
I actually kind of agree with what Michael was saying about. I think Barkley's going to go off. So does he beat?
Now, hold on a second.
The way I'm looking at
You
it,
agree with Michael, but Michael said that Joe Mixon's going to outscore Saquon by double digits. So I think you disagree with
You don't
Michael.
agree with me.
hold on. You said Saquon's going to outscore Joe
No,
Mixon.
No,
no,
Joe
no.
Mixon's going to outscore Saquon by double digits.
I actually
Y'all are on opposite
think-
ends of the
Yeah,
coin.
no, actually, I'm reversing.
He
his,
said,
Reverse.
I put that thing down, flip it in reverse.
so just
I got excited.
reverse his bold prediction to my bold prediction.
Do you know how
Well, I think
excited
Saquon
would be?
can. I think he doubles up Joe Mixon.
Okay, so that's more bold because Joe Mixon. I mean,
Well, it's still they're both bold.
Double
They're both-
up.
they're both- One of them's going to have.
I
a
said
handshake
double
next
up.
week, the other one's gonna get-
He's going to double him up.
Oh, he said he was going to double him up reverse.
it's really difficult because I got Saquon going off in one of my bowl
Interesting.
predictions. Kenneth Walker going off in the
Interesting.
other one. So I have 2 bowl predictions on the running backs. So
I don't know what to do.
Ryan,
Sorry.
I'm listening, buddy.
no, I picked your running backs.
Oh, okay.
So you pick my running backs.
But you think
But
Barkley's
Saquon's going to double
But
up.
I already had
Jones.
Kenneth-
I had
Kenneth
Walker's
Walker
also
going
going to go for
18.
18 plus.
I really,
tough.
I put myself in a. I would have said tie if I could.
You can.
Tie.
What about him?
That's-
Montgomery?
Davis Price? Ty Montgomery. Ty Davis Price. Ty T-I-E. Brian's got a lot of wordplay going on, and you
He's not
not so
looking
much.
So not so
You're
much.
not full paying attention. I got you.
Man, I do think this is a tough one. I'm going to take Ryan's running backs this week, which is difficult to do. I think if Montgomery had gone for maybe 12, 13, because I think Barkley's going to have a good week. I think it'd be easier to pick JT's. But,
You can.
I mean, obviously, it's going to be a close matchup.
It
It's the last matchup of the week.
Not bad.
That is
Since
true,
we have been
Brian.
recording, JT was projected to win by 1.5. I've been projected to win by half a point. Now it's back to saying that I'm going to win by like 2.5 points. I don't know what
Now
they're
who's
changing.
really
I don't know if it's based
updating?
on
It's
the-
Vegas, man. That's
I don't know if,
Vegas.
yeah, I was about to say, I don't know if it's injury related that it keeps moving or if JT's making start or lineup changes. I don't know. Yeah, it's changed like 3 times since we started.
Let's move that tight end matchup. Pitts,
Yeah.
Everett. I'm taking Everett. Fuck Pitts.
I'm taking Pitts because fuck Everett.
Right?
I'm not going to say the same things you guys did.
You do it.
I think they both have duds. I
You're
think they're both
done. Kyle
under
Pitts
5.
is rested and ready to go.
Well, Gerald Everett didn't do a ton last
He's
week.
been
He shouldn't
ready to
have
go his entire NFL career.
Shut
He's done
up.
shit.
Shut
He's
up.
only like 20.
He gets 11 points and like, oh, here we go. And he just doesn't do shit.
I got one more ball.
I think he did set the receiving yards record for tight ends last year.
Yeah, so you didn't do
And
shit.
still didn't do shit.
Yeah, he did.
He's that bad he can do amazing things and not do anything all at the same time.
That is
I'm like,
Now you're doing nothing.
Oh, Joe Biden. Oh, yeah, you say that loud. Fuck Joe Biden. Mike,
Let's go, Brandon.
Indeed.
I'm picking Ryan's tight end. No, never mind.
he's only got one.
JT, sorry.
I know you
Kyle
want to.
Pitts, triples, Joe Everett.
Whoa, I like the triple up, huh? You're pissing Brian off.
I'm sorry, Ryan.
You don't listen to the damn podcast. I have not been wrong on Kyle Pitts. Every year they start slobbering.
It's only been 2 years,
I
man.
think you
Calm
made a
down.
whole prediction about Kyle Pitts a
I
couple weeks
did.
ago. Did
And
you
you
read it
did.
down?
You can be right on the year, but you might be
Brian, Pitts, touchdown and 50 yards. Wrong.
See, even when I
Week
try
three.
to do good for
wrong.
him, even when I give him a little
You try to
bit of hope,
talk. Yeah.
he just sucks.
You see.
So I'm sorry, I went on my tangent.
I picked. No,
Pitt,
not
we,
Ryan. I
we,
picked-
me and him picked Pitts.
Yeah, JT.
Y'all both took Pitts.
JT.
And Ryan,
I think it's going to be a non-factor, but I think Pitts will outscore. Donald Parham's back, so he's going to get some tight end work for the old Chargers.
fuck Pitts.
So did you take?
Flex.
Who'd you take?
I took Everett. I took him before he
Calm
started
down.
out.
Miles Sanders versus Melvin Gordon.
Yeah,
Ooh,
you won't get
fun
to it.
matchup. I've already took it. I did Kenneth Walker, but I do think that Melvin Gordon showed that being the lead back again with no split duties, that he is. Yeah, I know. He's still a very valuable running back in the league. I think
Here's the thing, though. Melvin Gordon was questionable tag has a neck and ribs injury.
he's playing.
He had a neck injury.
We all
He does have a
Except
neck.
for CJ Nelson.
Yeah.
He had 11.8 with
My
no.
neck, my neck, and my back.
Last week he was a touchdown away from almost a 20-point performance.
Yeah, he had over 100 yards
yeah.
last week. But just didn't score.
I get what you're saying, but I mean, those are pretty significant body parts.
Miles Sanders is another
Need that back.
interesting one to
And
look
that-
at
and that neck.
because
And that real.
he's had 2 or 3 pretty good weeks and then 2 kind of dud weeks.
Mhm.
So
And you said Dallas has got the best defense in football. Is
Third.
that third best?
that's what I think I said.
just-
San
you just-
Francisco and the Bills are technically ahead of them.
Right.
He does
So
get an extra day of rest.
he is at home. Sunday Night Football. Both of those are primetime matchups, so that's pretty interesting.
I
That
think
we
they
can,
can move to Monday.
no, I'm talking about Miles Sanders, big
is
guy.
on Sunday
Oh, I'm
night.
sorry.
Yeah.
I was still
Jackass.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, so this is what it's like. I pay attention.
Yes.
I don't know why you do that. I don't know.
So who do you think outscores who in this matchup, Brian?
I'm going Sanders.
Now, was this, you said you had something about the running backs. And you said it was in the flex. Was that?
So I think
talking about
Melvin Gordon. I think he goes over 100 yards and he'll get a touchdown this week.
So 100 and a touchdown
Yep.
for Melvin. All right. We got a bunch of bold predictions this week. We don't need JT. I don't mean that. We do need you.
God, that's going to sound creepy.
It did every time I did it last year. So yep.
Yeah, I'm going to take Sanders in this matchup.
I'm thinking Gordon.
Mike?
Yeah, I'm gonna take Melvin Gordon.
I'm taking Gordon. I've seen the Chargers run defense.
Yeah,
it doesn't really.
Without Bosa, it's
Without Bosa, he sets the edge.
Yeah.
Like everybody talked about him as a pass rusher. I think
Because he's
better.
on the edge.
Yes, I think he's a better run defender than he's a pass rusher, in my opinion. As far as just setting the edge on the run game, but Khalil Mack.
I miss kickers solely for matchup of the week because I would love to hear us have a conversation about kickers.
and on the
Like,
defensive
who's got Justin
matchup, we
Tucker?
have Baltimore
Look,
going
Tucker.
against the Giants
Tucker
and
not even here
Philadelphia
tomorrow.
versus Dallas.
Can
What
we
do you
talk
think
about
about
it?
this?
Who's better between Justin Tucker
Justin
and Adam
Tucker.
Vinatieri?
Justin Tucker.
Ooh.
Career.
Justin Tucker.
Clutch.
Justin-
Terry all day.
Justin Tucker.
Justin Tucker, I think, has only missed one kick in the last 5 years.
Yeah,
In football.
Justin Tucker.
It's
And he's made a lot of game-winning field goals that are like 60 yards.
Yeah, they
I
got
think
Right.
Terry had to cheat though because that nose was perfect for sizing things up.
Okay.
All right, let's move on to defense.
He had like a little Madden meter.
It stuck out so far. If the wind was blowing, his nose would go to the left or the right just a little bit. It's like shooting a gun.
That's me. That's my Madden talk. That's all I know about Madden.
Your defenses. Philly versus Dallas and Baltimore versus the Giants. 12-5, 12-6.
Yeah. Ooh. I think Philadelphia, just because Dallas has been, I mean, they've been winning, but they haven't been putting up
Yeah, it hasn't been pretty.
big points, I guess.
Yeah.
Like,
Philly's defense is very good.
very good.
But Baltimore got their 2 outside linebackers back.
Yeah.
Bowser. What's the other kid's name? It was Tyus Bowser, and who's the other one? Anybody remember? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He sounded like Jonathan
So-
Davis a little bit.
It's okay.
Let's see what Baltimore's defense has done. Point-wise, 15-10, 15-8, 11. I mean,
Yeah, they've been solid.
Yeah.
terrible. I mean,
Yeah.
Philly's been 8, 15, 22, 28.
that 8 was against Buffalo, which is understandable.
Yeah, it's against Detroit.
But it's just the Giants are they, how legitimate is the Giants?
Well said. How legitimate is the Giants?
Yeah, how legitimate they be?
How legitimate them dudes do, though? Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I'm gonna lean Baltimore.
Okay.
I would lean Baltimore too. Well, yeah, because the Giants are
It's
basically
the matchup.
Yeah,
base.
and it's Daniel Jones. I know at some point we're gonna see Daniel Jones be Daniel Jones.
It's the Jared
And
Goff
I'm
from
just-
last
yeah,
week.
I'm just
it's,
waiting for it to happen.
That's a good point.
It's where
They know.
But it's Cooper Rush. Is he's
Yeah.
going to be able to, like, you actually got more film on them now.
does Baltimore get up early and then they make Daniel Jones have to throw the ball, and then he puts himself in bad.
But
They've
do
been
you-
playing with a lead or in the game.
Yeah,
all
close
year.
enough
It's
where they
a
can
big
just keep
rivalry matchup.
Rivalry.
Philly and Dallas.
It's a big rivalry.
And it's on Sunday Night Football.
It
It
is.
is. And
And
that's
are the
usually
lights too big for Cooper Rush? Let's hope so.
With
probably.
Yeah. I'm going to take Philadelphia for all those reasons. More film on them.
For that reason, I'm out.
The running game
Shark Tank,
sucks. I know.
You watch Shark Tank. Of course, if I watch Shark Tank, you watch Shark Tank.
I'm with you, Jake.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Solidarity.
I'm gonna flip back over. I'm gonna go Philly. I'm gonna start thinking about that rivalry. If
Rivalry.
Phillies beat the Braves, there's gonna be nothing but a party in that game tomorrow night.
Yes. It's going to be loud.
And Philly, man, that city when they get a team that is on it, those fans are.
They
Are
don't
y'all, are y'all surprised that JT went Tyler Boyd over the $100 man?
Well, that was the thing I was just talking about. He had Michael Thomas in when we got here, and then he put Garrett Wilson in for like 20 minutes, and then took Garrett Wilson out and put Tyler Boyd in. So he's flipping on that one for sure. That's all happened since we've been here today.
All right, let's get to our picks.
Pick it up.
Ryan will go last. Jake, who you got?
Ryan.
Mike.
Right.
I gotta go
I
Ryan.
appreciate that. I drew with you. I think you just did that.
I
That
guess.
was nice.
I gotta go Ryan.
All right.
I don't want to
Well,
go Ryan.
it's a clean sweep besides me because I took JT.
And JT took
JT took me.
Ryan.
So 4 for me, and
Well played,
I
gentlemen.
took JT.
All right, boys, any closing thoughts here?
Sorry for the extremely long episode.
Well, what we?
I don't know.
Oh, that's right. Any guesses on that?
On how long
Can
the
we do-
podcast's going to be, we're going to finish it first?
Yeah, let's just go ahead and finish
I
it.
don't know.
Yeah,
It's
we're
not-
gonna finish it. Guys, good luck this week.
Jake's hosting from now on. JT's not here.
No,
If you
None of the
got
rest of us will be able to get word in edgewise. Jake's hosting.
just trying to wrap it
We'll
up.
just make
He
jokes.
said, "Been trying to wrap it up."
I want to
Me
get
and
back
Bryan getting back to doing side hustles over here and
Yeah.
side conversations. That's what I want to do, sidebar.
That's how we're going to do this.
Sidebar.
from now on. Mike, welcome back.
Thank you, bud.
I'm just glad to be back.
Can we get consistent weeks out of it?
It's good to be back.
Can we get a consecutive?
Y'all was here for the first two.
He was here first two.
Huh.
And then he missed weeks 3
I missed 3 and 4.
And-
Back for.
So,
No,
are you off the
I
hour?
missed 3.
no, you were here first 3, missed 4 and 5, and this is 6.
Okay.
I'm happy back.
I'm glad to be back. I'm happy you guys still want me.
I want you. Thoughts?
Why don't Jake's stop this podcast?
Oh, you already has.
No.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
Okay. All right. We'll see y'all later.